rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or guarantee, so the whole league that we here now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Straight rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
All right, let's just get right into it. You guys ready?
Yes.
In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, August 10th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zwoski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe. With me, as always, is Mr. Aldo Soto.
The Cubs are about to lose 2-3 to the Mets, and I know we're going to complain a lot about decision making, maybe some poor hitting, brutal decisions to pitch to a guy who's hitting 1,000 home runs against you. The Cubs heading into the series have won 6 in a row after the All-Star break, except for one series. Their first series after the All-Star break, they lost 2-3 to the Boston Red Sox at home. Joe Girardi was calling those games. Get that fucker out of my life, because he is going to be the sole reason that the Cubs are going to blow a chance at making the playoffs. It's irrational. It's dumb. But also,
Baseball's
it's
dumb.
also true. So I'm just spitting out facts here. Get Joe Girardi out of my life.
Yep.
Take the Northwestern job. Go fuck up with them.
Ooh.
Just get out of here.
And is rocking his Bears jersey, Drew, the good Reverend K. Fitz.
Yeah, actually, I think that both Chicago teams have been jinxed by scab color or commentators that are like lobbying for the job that they're broadcasting for all season. So every time Girardi's there, and then the White Sox have their own guy that's been lobbying for the job, being a bad luck charm as well. So I think it's kind of interesting that happens. But no, I'm kidding, because Joe Girardi's not bad luck. He's just a bad manager.
I'm not kidding. Joe Girardi is bad.
His head is square. He's got a square head, though. It's really
I'm getting the sense that Aldo really doesn't go after people individually like
I don't.
that. If you hear him
like, that's
going
the
after
thing.
this, it's
Like,
personal.
that's the
Interesting.
Cubs baseball hasn't mattered in a couple of years. Like, we're actually playing meaningful games here. And I can't help but look at the facts, though. The facts are 6 in a row. Joe Girardi nowhere in fucking sight. Nowhere. Out of the booth. Cubs win like what? What was kind of 13 of 16?
Yep,
on
13 of 16.
fire. One series loss after the All-Star break. Joe Girardi calling games. Get him the hell out of here.
Yep. And friend of the show, Chase and Shreve, will agree with you on that, because there's no love lost there too.
Good. Dig up some Jared Joe. Let's get him canceled. Get him out of the booth.
I know they're coming out of the gate hot with a lot of Cubs stuff, and we're going to talk about the Cubs because they are playoff contenders. But
I mentioned the White Sox.
We would be remiss to not talk about the baseball version of Jerry Springer, the Chicago White Sox, and how they are total. This week was just wild. I've been chomping at the bit to get on here because there's just so much we need to talk about with this. And I know a couple of Cubs beat writers, and you guys even mentioned it. The Cubs are putting together a great run right now. 6 in a row. They beat the Atlanta Braves, who are arguably the best team in baseball. Getting back in the wild card race. Guys are getting hot, and all anyone's talking about is the Chicago White Sox, because they are currently the car accident that no one can look away from right now. It's from the TA fight to the bitch slapping in the locker room and everything in between. We're going to get to that as well. So with all that being said, welcome to the cesspool. Let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery and sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications. Bear season's right around the corner. You're going to want to get all the latest news from actually hopefully a good team. But can't say that anymore because the Cubs are good. So as the Cubs make their playoff run, you get a push notifications on that. And if anybody else from the White Sox decides to go to jail or get knocked the freak out, you get notifications that way. So Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com, turn on push notifications. And also brought to you by Uncle Bud's. Check them out in Oak Lawn, 9700 South Cicero. They actually just gave the menu a little bit of a makeover. So if you were there already, go back again. It's like a new place. Something's going on every night. Food is fantastic. I think they had like up to 20 taps or 30 taps there. Wide selection of beer, always some locally crafted booze too. I had some last time I was there. I had some bourbon from a guy actually in the Beverly neighborhood that made it with his sons. It was pretty good.
So were you telling me that Uncle Bud's went from first season of the Bear as Mr. Beef, and now they've revamped the menu, and now they're season 2 of the Bear, going for
I think
that?
it's actually. I actually think they're ahead of them. I think they're season 3.
Oh,
They did like a summer menu that was really good. So I don't know. I think they've upped it. But
get them stars.
and Lewis Robert just got hurt.
Oh,
Yes.
Like how hurt though?
Like hurt or injured?
I don't know. All we got in the comments is Luis Robert just got hurt, by the way, sliding to third. So
Like Eloy Jimenez forgot to stretch for the 5th year in a row.
I mean,
injured, or-
it's been a running joke, which is not really that funny, but how does Luis Robert not know how to slide?
He's never been taught. He's just gone up with his talent, and no one he was moving through fast through the system for anybody to teach him like legitimate fundamental stuff. That's something you see in a lot of things that he does. He's not fundamentally sound, and I don't think it's necessarily his fault, because when you're that talented, people just push you through. Like you can mask flaws when it comes to the fundamentals and the game IQ, because you make up for it a lot of the times with just incredible ability, which is what he has. So like as he grows and learns, the more he's going to become a better ball player. But yeah, sliding is definitely something that he needs to really improve on.
So apparently he was trying to steal third, or he stole third. He was successful,
there you go.
but
Good for the fantasy stats.
well, we'll check back in when we get an official word. I'm sure someone in the comment section will let us know.
Did he leave the game, or is he in?
I'm not seeing anything right now, so
It's-
we'll get to that.
shake it off.
Someone in the comments will let us know. But also a little bit of a fun fact that was just sent to us by Drew, who I appreciate him sending me these fun facts. Since being absolutely knocked out on television, Tim Anderson has only struck out.
I mean, we just
He's been
start there,
swinging
right?
and missing for a while.
So we're just gonna start there.
We just got. I mean, we got
started right there.
So it's been a while now. That's what you get when you do your show in the middle of the week. You know, you roll the dice about stuff happening on the weekend and not being able to talk about it for a couple days. And I'm sure by now everybody's heard this fight analyzed front, back, side to side.
Luis Robert was taken out of the game, by the way.
That's awesome. But TA on Saturday, I should probably have video of this.
Well, which one of the million memes do you want?
I know. I don't. Well, Tim likes to be viral, so he got his viral.
He did it.
Let's just pull up the fight. I want to do a step-by-step breakdown here. Is that a good video? I want the one from the side where you can really see.
Pull up the John Boy breakdown. Just mute it, and then we'll just talk over it.
All right. Well, this is a good enough view. So a lot going on here. There's a lot. So let me go here.
What was crazy was the fight lasted 2 seconds. That was the
It was
crazy.
very quick. It was very, 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 very.
I think it was literally from TA dropping his little glove to getting knocked his ass out was 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate fuck around and find out kind of thing. Because I mean, look, he looked good, man. When he was getting ready to fight, he had his.
You guys
hands
see my
up.
screen?
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Let's go. Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
break this down.
All right. We're gonna do this is a full breakdown. And first and foremost, I just want to say a lot of you have never been in like a Donnybrook or a bar fight or a brawl in your entire life, and you told on yourself this weekend. Which is fine. I mean, good for you. So first of all, Tim tagged him too hard. And apparently, so this goes back to the last series where Cleveland was in the south side of Chicago, and Tim 1,000,000% pushed the dude's hand off the base, but they got the calls for some reason. And then after the game, Jose Ramirez said that Tim's been disrespecting the game for a long time, and this has been building up. So that's where we get to this. And then typical baseball, you get the join, but this is where the Bama comes out. Boom. Right there.
Cool. Hands up. He's ready.
Now,
Protecting himself.
first question: Tim Anderson bats righty, throws righty. Why does he square up southpaw?
Why is he swinging with his right hand at all?
Well, I'm just saying he's squaring up like he's a lefty. He's got the left hand back. You always put your power hand back, which if you're righty, you put it righty.
I think so. I
He's
think
going
TA might have
across.
been telling on himself. I don't think he's ever.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
Did
that becomes more evident. as we go
he
on.
was watching Creed 3 and too much, and
Yeah, the only time a righty's ever been successful or someone's been successful switching hands mid-fight has been Rocky.
Rocky.
So-
Maybe he was trying to be a Rocky. Like, oh, this guy thinks I'm a righty. Watch this.
Yep, thinks I'm right. I'm gonna switch it up lefty. Flawless logic. First little giant boom. Okay, so
Oh, see, yeah, and look at that overhand right. He's got no leverage there.
but see, he is a righty. Look at this guy's face. That's hilarious. So obviously he is a righty because he swings with his right hand, and just like the first half of the season, Tim swings and misses, just right over his head, boom, and then he goes for the second one, another
Missed
punch.
again.
I mean, if Tim were to swing like 3 inches lower, Jose Ramirez is probably still sleeping.
You know, and Ramirez, look at Ramirez's left arm. He pushes him away just enough that he misses that punch too.
Yep, and
If Ramirez doesn't push him in the chest,
this is not a punch.
Connect. No, he's
This is
pushing
not
him
a
away.
punch. He's pushing
Right.
away. By the way,
That cost him an
man,
inch.
this man did
He's
nothing.
hurting.
He did nothing, and this
Who's
is the
behind
second
Kopech?
time.
Is that Remlard?
Yeah.
Look at him now.
He is like, help, help.
We'll see you in Valhalla.
Remlard's screaming, "I need an adult."
It's like, help.
This guy has had front row seats to now the last 2 amazing fights in baseball because he was there when O'Deer got knocked the F out.
That's
Oh,
also the
he-
face
he
someone
knocked-
makes when
he
they're
knocked
second
down
row of
Batista.
Beyonce and they know they're going home with the date that you brought to Beyonce second row. And
So miss. Oh wait, we missed the. This is a crucial punch here.
Senior Sox has kids.
This
Makes
is a
them.
crucial. So TA going for points in the later round starts landing body shots here.
No, I saw a
blow.
different
Body
angle.
blow.
I think he also missed. I think he went over 3. I think the other angle, his hand went.
And then that one's just like,
No, so it was.
I mean, I'll give him credit. That's like the hit by pitch. You got the
yeah,
loose,
there's the miss.
You got
There's
the
the
baggy
miss, right?
jersey.
So this is the force punch. That's the miss, and then he kind of brought it in and caught the
Okay,
ribs.
there you go.
And then
They-
this is when, okay, let's talk about this because this is now the infamous punch that everyone's going crazy about or whatever. First of all, we're watching this in slow motion, frame by frame. This all happened in a matter of 10 seconds. So what's happening here is Kopech is pulling him off. His eyes are closed. He just throws up a Hail Mary, doesn't even catch him on the chin. It's like a closed hand slap.
it's really it's the front knuckles. It's not
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not the
he got
knuckles. He got. I mean, it's
And
almost
then-
like he got pimp slapped.
I wish, hold on,
I don't know if that's better for Tim that he didn't even get a full fist. He got a
Well, apparently it's not the first
Yeah,
time.
so
it would have
it's in
happened.
this
Yeah,
more knuckles.
you can't see it because it's blurred, but in this frame, his eyes are closed. Like if you watch this at full
Oh, yeah.
speed, his eyes are closed right here, and he's just throwing. And
Yeah.
this is where the lights go out for TA. And first of all, I've seen 1,000,001 tweets like, "Oh, glass jaw Anderson, TA's got a glass jaw." Jose Ramirez is 5'10", 200 something pounds of fuck you, and he just hits bombs from both sides of the plate. He's a very, very strong man. So for him to catch you full unblocked swing right on your chin, every single person that tweeted that would be in the hospital right now with a neck injury if they got hit by this. Just saying. Because this is a good punch because you can even see the muscles flexing there. So boom, TA, night, night. Yep. And his eyes still closed, getting pulled off Kopech. Good form on the headlock here. TA going about to fall down. TA go boom. Kopech get a little. Remember Bob Buckland from WWE doing the crossface chicken wing?
yeah.
Head in there a little bit. Trying
I
to
gotta point this out. Wait, don't move. Look at this. Look at Andrew Vaughn lead. Look at Andrew Vaughn leading in this video. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Never mind.
no, he's over here in the bottom right hand corner. This is before he. There he is.
He's leading. He's leading right there. Look at him lead.
Oh, look
He's
at
like,
it. Of course, Naylor gets right into it because he's a piece of shit. So he gets.
Well,
into
did you
it.
hear the story on that? What happened between the shit talking in Chicago, the last series? According to Jesse Rogers, everyone's favorite baseball reporter in Chicago, when they played each other in Chicago in late July, I think it was, Naylor hit a double or something, and he did one of the White Sox players' celebrations. So then TA got
He
pissed
loves to
off
do
at
that.
that, started talking shit to Naylor. So then that's why Naylor's like, "Give me some," but he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, TA's already,
Well, we
TA's
all
already
know.
night right now."
We all know that
He's my
Naylor.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Naylor is known for like doing other team celebrations. Remember last year in the playoffs when
Yes,
they were down 3-1 and he did the rock the baby thing?
them losing that game and anything.
Yeah.
And
So,
it
but
was
hold
also
on.
last year when Kevin jinxed the Sox and the
Yes.
Sox blew that big lead, and he was like just screaming his head off in the dugout, like MF in the White Sox too.
Yes.
I've unjinxed him more times than I've jinxed him, though.
So okay, what's going on here? So Kopech did his job. He got Ramirez out of there. TA's night here. He's about to go in the little upside down fetal position.
Is that third base coach, by the way, wearing a towel under his helmet right now?
No, I
Over
think
there-
it's just blurry. Naylor, being
That's
the
his glove.
super tough guy that he is coming in to get a little sloppy seconds on TA because he's already knocked out.
Trying to drop an
Vaughn's,
elbow.
Vaughn's doing his job. He's protecting his dude who is now defenseless. And then if you keep going here, see, same. Everybody's protecting everyone. Everyone, Remlard's still screaming.
Remlard is just in panic mode this entire.
I think we need just like a montage of him in this whole thing. Just like
all right, now everyone's like, these guys are like, be cool. Grandal's in here trying to act like he gives a shit when he's like, haha, I already hit him. Now that we know that. And then whatever, Naylor's still trying to go at it. Alvis gets in there. And then it's just basically then this turns into baseball fight with a lot of pushing and like whatever. But here's it full speed. So this is what I'm talking about. Look how fast, boom, boom, miss, and then he caught him on the chin on the fadeaway, eyes closed.
What I found pretty weird about the immediate reaction to it, or not immediate, I guess it was later that night, but was some Sox fans being like Kopech should have done more, or like why didn't anyone try to help out TA? I'm like, what?
So
are we watching the same video here? Like, what are you talking about?
right,
if Michael Kopech doesn't hold back Jose Ramirez, TA is like on the concussion protocol right now.
Yeah, I mean, so couple things. TA's always been a lightning rod. TA wants to be a lightning rod, good and bad. And so this happens. Lucky punch. I mean, I won't say lucky, but like, I mean, the guy had his eyes closed and was being pulled off.
Like he just got caught.
Yeah. And again, that's what I'm talking about. If you're in a brawl or you're in a bar fight or something like that, you're gonna get caught with something you don't see coming. You know what I mean? Like it just happens. Like things just happen when that you know what I mean? And it's just like that clip. Next season, TA could put up better numbers than Ohtani, and people will still be playing that clip.
Oh, they're gonna have like on signs, like
that's
visiting ballparks.
I forget who it was. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are saying it's like, think of all the great things that TA has done, and he did, turning around his career. Great, like he became one of the best hitters in baseball for 4 straight seasons. All that means nothing now.
Then his legacy right now is that video.
Yeah, like that is what he's going to be known for. Well, I think it was Herb, our guy Herb Lawrence. It's like, Rob, what do people know Robin Ventura for?
Getting punched in the head multiple times.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, he's a pretty damn good player.
I got a question too. Was this the anniversary of the?
It was the day after, I think.
It was the day after
the Barrett. Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I thought it was like I thought it was maybe the anniversary of the Barrett fight, but maybe.
No,
so
it was the one day
after the Nolan Ryan
fight. Ventura and Nolan Ryan.
Yeah. So again, TA can have a bigger year than Aaron Judge last year. He can go crazy. He can hit 75 home runs next year or whatever. That video is all that people are going to play. That's just the world we live in. That's the world we live in. And the thing about being a lightning bolt, with how much some people love you, people love to hate you even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like I said on Twitter, I fucked up. I went on Facebook.
Oh.
And I swear to God, if I had a dime for every time I read the word Jackie Robinson or Jackie, I'd be a multimillionaire right now. It was ridiculous. Like people need to grow the fuck up. Like I said, people were telling on themselves for never being in a fight before. People were definitely telling on themselves for being major douchebags.
Well, with Tim Anderson too, like he's one of those guys that when he's your guy, you love him to pieces. But when he's on a rival team, you hate him. Like he's not likable if you are a fan of a team that's competing with the White Sox when the White Sox are competitive. Like he can be a foil to you. He can be someone that irks you the wrong way. I mean, again, just like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a lot of people that hate him and a lot of people that love him. And if he's on your team, generally you love him because he's on he's your guy. But the minute he's no longer your guy, he may say stuff to piss you off. Like, and all of a sudden you're on the other camp too. So when you are a guy like Anderson, that's a leader, that's an athletic, that has gifts, and is a guy that is not afraid to put it out there and be upfront. There's the what's it's kind of part of the game. He puts himself out there. You have to respect that. Stroman does the same thing. I like outspoken athletes in general put themselves out there, and sometimes shit like this happens, and it's like it's easy to just throw everything away now because he got slept.
Fitz, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing. Luis Robert left the game with a sprained pinky finger.
Oh Jesus!
X-rays were negative. He is now listed as day to day.
Hey, those can be tricky. He has to grip the bat, so
at least it wasn't his legs. And as someone with very broken pinkies, it's okay, man.
Fingers.
I just wanted to add.
What the? Not kidding.
I just wanted to add the other thing about the TA, like just the incident itself between him and Jose Ramirez was obviously the knockout sucks, but like he basically had everything going for him because he looked cool as fuck when he threw down the glove. I mean, when you put him up, he's like, all right.
Oh yeah, I mean, even though he squared up wrong, it was just like
that. So that was point one, and then obviously he gets knocked out. It looked terrible. After the fact, though. You still have a big group of White Sox fans being like, hey, at least somebody's showing some fight. Like, hey, somebody fucking cares. Somebody's standing up to some bullshit. Cool. So you still had that contingent of support from I'd say like a pretty good chunk of White Sox fans.
Yeah, some of the big names too.
You had the third thing, which Jose Ramirez like sounding like an idiot, being like, "Oh, he tagged me too hard."
Tagged me too hard.
And then like him saying, I think he picked his words poorly when he said, TA's been disrespecting the game. However he meant that, everybody was shitting on Jose Ramirez for that.
Yep.
So like TA had like all this like positive stuff, but it's just like we live in a day and age where there is a slight percentage of people who saw the clip know everything else about it. They only know the clip. And that's unfortunately is, at least for a while, is going to be what TA is known for. And I think it was Lawrence Holmes who on his podcast that he did after it, he's like, if you truly do care about TA, you just hope that this doesn't spiral. I mean, he's already had
I did
a lot of off-field shit, but like, you just hope this doesn't continue that spiral that he is seemingly in.
I did a spot on Sports Zone with our boy Sean and Maya in the morning. And that was on the Monday after it all happened. And I agree with Lawrence. I didn't even hear Lawrence's thing, but I agree with him. Like, Tim went to Twitter and did all the cryptic shit. I don't know why he's deleted a lot of them now, but like, he could have even just been like, yeah, he got me. And everyone would have been like, cool, it's over. But then he's like, yeah, we'll catch up to people. Like, I'm messing with the people that fuck with me and all this shit. And it's just like, you're doing too much, man. But in doing that, like Lawrence said, like all you just said, I said on Monday morning, like I feel like that's him giving us a glimpse into like his state of mind. And like this has been a really tough year for Tim. He had a really shitty first half of the season. Obviously, all the off-field stuff. This all kind of started when his friend got murdered a year or two ago. That's when all the cryptic tweets and all this other stuff started happening. So, I mean, as a human to human, I hope Tim gets the help it kind of looks like he needs. He needs someone to talk to, I think. But as just like a guy, he could have easily just got on Twitter and been like, yep, you got me. You know what I mean? And it would have just been over. It would have been over. But so that happens. And you would think to yourself, wow, that must be all the crap that they're talking about that happened with the White Sox.
That's like story number 5 this week.
That's been knocked down so long. So, and I also just want to point out that Middleton just came in to pitch against the White Sox because the Yankees are playing the White Sox. The White Sox didn't announce him. They didn't put his name on the scoreboard. They're basically trying to make it so like he doesn't exist, which the pettiness is actually appreciated here. But that's a perfect segue into the next thing that happens. So the White Sox clean house, or not clean house, but they make a lot of trades. We talked about it last week. There started to become a weird theme with all the players that got traded from the White Sox. For me, it started when Jake Berger's first game with the Marlins, they won. Was it a walk-off?
Yeah, I
I
think
think
they
it was.
won in
I
extra
think it was.
innings.
Yeah, it
Maybe.
was an extra inning, whatever. And in his post-game presser, Jake goes, "That's the most fun I've had on a baseball field in a long time."
To be fair, maybe that was relative. Maybe the last time he had fun was when he had his walk off earlier
And
in the year.
I am in no way, shape, or form saying that Jake Jake is purposely throwing shit. Jake doesn't seem like the type. I think Jake's just kind of like a straight shooter, and he's just telling you his truth. You know, at the moment, that was the most fun he's had on a baseball field. And then, out of everybody, you get Middleton, a middle reliever that the White Sox signed on a prove-it deal, who had a pretty good season. He's having a pretty good season. So they dealt him to the Yankees, and all of a sudden, Jesse Rogers, which again, fuck Jesse Rogers.
Rock chiller.
Uh,
Right, yep. That's the
yeah.
rock chiller.
My dislike for him started when he covered the Blackhawks, and he'd be like, "I'm having a Q&A, fire away," and people would ask him questions. He's like, "Yeah, it's in my blog. Here's the link." It's like, no, dude, it's just so
You
pompous.
got to get the click subs out.
I know, but it was so pompous. But so Jesse Rogers comes out with Middleton saying that dudes are falling asleep in the dugout or taking naps in the dugout. Dudes aren't coming to meetings. There's just no culture whatsoever there. Like, it's not even like it's a bad culture. Like, there's just no culture.
Just no rules.
No rules. You can do whatever you want. And then he also kind of like blamed it on the World Baseball Classic guys. He's like, yeah, well, when your leaders go, when you have a new manager and then you look around the dugout or the locker room and all your studs are at the World Baseball Classic, so there was no one to like set the tone or whatever, like create like rules from the get-go, and when they come back it's just already anarchy. So basically he's saying Pedro has no control. The inmates run the asylum. So that's bad.
He also said it's not really Pedro's fault.
Yeah.
Either. He also absolved him of blame, saying it was going on even before.
Right.
Pedro.
He said this was going on before Pedro. So right away, I'm glad he said that too, kind of.
Yeah.
Because that's just all the Tony boys.
I'll have something to say on that in a bit too.
Which there are a lot of Tony boys. Oh no, and Healy, and I feel like that was such a lazy excuse using the WBC and stuff like that. But I know the Mets had a lot of guys too, but there was guys from a lot of teams that seemed to have it put together. I'm glad he said that though, so the Tony boys couldn't even get started because they wanted to. Some of them actually did.
They did.
And they were just like, people were pointing out like, they're obviously saying this has been happening. This started under Tony. But so Middleton comes out swinging, and then you get Lance Lynn, who does his weekly spot on the AJ Przinsky Foul Territory show, which, by the way, that's a great show. I mean, big fan of it. I like how AJ he's AJ. He doesn't. He does not cut corners.
AJ is AJ, except for when he goes on local radio. Because
no, there's a very big difference between AJ on Foul Territory and AJ in the booth or on local radio, which I get. You know, he's trying to be professional.
AJ is be like, Jerry, give me a lifetime contract. I'm you're amazing, man.
Yep. And then
give me a 50-year job security.
But so I don't know what the rules are on using Foul Territory clips, so we won't use their clip, but I can paraphrase it because I watched the whole thing. They're starting, they're talking about the TA stuff, and Lance is kind of giggling at it. He's like, well, you never like to see that shit on a baseball field. That was his direct quote. And he's like, I'm just glad no one got really hurt. And they all kind of giggled because TA got, noodle-legged. And then AJ just goes, so Middleton said this, and this. And then he goes, what part don't you agree with that? And Lance goes, Well, I'll tell you what part's not true. And then like no one got the joke, but AJ's like, I get it. Like he's basically saying that nothing he said is
The I don't know who the co-host of that is, but I remember seeing that clip. And
Yeah.
the guy's just like, "All right, we're ready," and then you
Yeah,
just
it's
hear
like,
AJ
yeah.
be like, "Oh, I
He's
get
like,
it."
I get it. Like, yeah, I get it, you moron. What up, Dougie? But yeah, that's so basically you got Lance Lynn not denying it, and he almost kind of came over the top and confirmed Scott Braun. Yeah, he kind of came over the top and confirmed like that this isn't like a just started this year type thing. So the same day, Jesse Rogers goes on ESPN radio, and he just, I think it's actually almost kind of reckless. I don't know why he started doing this, but he started naming names. And I was just okay, Jesse, shit. He's
Well,
like, he goes, it's the names you know. It's Yoan Moncada doesn't show up to meetings and has very little accountability. Eloy Jimenez doesn't put in the work, and that's why he gets hurt so much. Who else did he say? He said one other
Grandal.
player. Yep. Grandal doesn't show up to meetings and just kind of does whatever the hell he wants. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then now everyone's overanalyzing, like, oh, he didn't say TA and like all this other stuff. And it's just.
Where was Jesse Rogers when everyone knew Javi Baez was skipping meetings and showing up late to meetings?
Trying to get a better gig with the Cubs, so he wasn't going to do this.
Yep, exactly.
Well, the funny thing about that is ESPN 1000 is the home of the White Sox.
Right.
For radio.
Oh, I know. I get it. But
he was
Jesse
right for ESPN,
doesn't even like cover the White Sox. But so I think it was easier for him to go out because the White Sox don't have access issues with Jesse Rogers. You know what I mean? Like, but
I mean, nobody.
it's
nobody,
ESPN.
Nobody cares about the Athletic fired poor James Fagan because nobody was fucking reading about the White Sox.
Right. And so he starts naming names. And so now it's just like a complete shit show. And so now, and this is where I always miss Mitch, but I could really use his Han impression right now. This is where Han comes out to do damage control. Now, before this,
no.
What I missed?
Before that. Because then the other story came out right before the press conference.
Oh, that's right. That's right. From we got to make sure we credit him because he was going after everyone on Twitter that didn't. Shane Reardon from 670 Score came out with the story that basically it was the game before the All-Star break, and Grandal wanted to leave. Like he just wanted to start his All-Star break early, and TA, who was sitting in the tub, goes, let that bitch leave. I'll pay for his motherfucking ticket. And Grandal walked over, and it's been called a bitch slap. It's been called a punch. It's been called a slap. Basically, he struck TA while he was sitting in the tub. So that story comes out, and then one that tells me Grandal should be put on a rocket ship to the moon yesterday. And it also shows me that TA actually gives a shit. And also,
that was another point in TA's favor. It's like, hey, this dude's like, fuck off with your pissy attitude.
If you don't want to be here, dude,
out of here, yeah.
Boy, bye. I'll buy you a damn ticket.
But then it also shows that like nobody respects TA in that clubhouse.
Yeah,
walking up to him and slap.
But
didn't see a lot of people rushing out.
In his defense, there though, he's defenseless, sitting in a tub. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they squared up.
I'm saying more so like you, like you just have like another one of your teammates being like, "I care so little about you."
Right.
Open hand slap, like,
yeah,
so disrespectful.
But so that happens.
Was it the cold tub too? So like, even if it hurt, he could just kind of go underwater and ice it.
It had to either been the hot tub or the cold tub. So he was in a tub.
I
did
want more details on
probably wishing it was a hot tub time machine, probably, so he can go back and maybe not drop his glove.
He's definitely not about that life, senor. I agree. Because the fact that he squared up southpaw right away just told me that that's not it. But so that all comes out, and the first person to do the damage control, ironically enough, is Yasmani Grandal. And he comes out trying to be like a martyr. He's like, I'm going to talk to the media so the young guys don't have to. I'll address this. And everyone's like, no one asked you to, dude. Like, no one gives a shit what Yasmani. You're not on the team next year, bro.
Did he
no
say it
one,
that way too? Like, I'll do
Yeah.
it. Hey.
Yeah, he's like, they asked him, they're like, why are you the one coming out? And he's like, I'm the veteran on this team. I'll do it so the young guys don't. And he has his hair all slicked back and shit. But and so they asked him about the story with TA or whatever, and he's just like, no, that never happened. Like, that's wild that someone would say that.
No, dude. His initial answer didn't sound like a guy that because he was asked about it.
I just saw him keep saying that's wild that someone would say that.
And then he was just like, "Oh man, all I was thinking about was going back to my family lake house." Which, hey, that kind of lines up with the beginning of the story, Yasmani.
It definitely does.
The beginning of that story was that you weren't in the lineup, you were pissed off, you were ready to leave.
I'm sorry, I keep laughing at this line. This is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I laughed at earlier.
Yeah.
And then he gets done with like, "Yeah, man. All I was thinking about was going to the lake house, being with my family. I hadn't seen him in a long time." I'm paraphrasing this, but that was basically his answer. And like somebody asked him, he's like, "So are you saying the fight didn't happen?" He's like, "Well, I think I just answered that." It's like, you kind of didn't. It was like a non-denial denial. It was basically what Yasmani. And then after the fact, he's like, "Yeah, no, it's crazy."
He's like, it didn't happen, whatever. And then all of a sudden, 670 starts taking down videos. So you're like, wait, what? So is that real? It didn't happen or whatever? I've been told by someone not at 670 that it did happen. So take that as you will. But
bang, double confirmation.
So that all goes down, and Grandal, he starts saying a lot of nothing, blah 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 blah. I'm sorry, it's blah 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 blah, and that's fine. So then Han comes out, freshly rehearsed script in his mind, ready to address all of this. Now, before I even talk about what he said, it says a lot about the White Sox organization that as Han is sitting there, just taking bullet after bullet with every White Sox fan watching every single word he says and mannerism he has, that Kenny and Jerry are 20 feet away, like just hanging out, smoking a cigar, or like talking to Bill Cowher.
Yeah, they're just hanging out with Bill Cowher.
Yeah, they're just chilling. They asked Jerry Reinsdorf if he wants to get in there, and he's just like, nah, son.
Nah.
Like, nah, I'm good, dude. I'm very rich. But so Han does his lawyer talk, and everybody knows that. And right away, the first thing he tries to do is throw Middleton under the bus. He says, like, oh, it's pretty funny that he's the guy that's saying all this when right before he got traded, he called us to apologize for his unprofessional behavior and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, so we're going to throw him under the bus. That's one. Two, he says there's a dude on the team that has like sleep paralysis or something like that, so he's allowed to take naps in the clubhouse during games, and word on the street is it's Santos, so that's where those memes came from. Like, it's the from basketball when he's all hung over and he's sleeping and they do the horn and he pops up and just guns the ball. But that's, people were saying that's what Santos does before he goes out there and throws 100 miles an hour. They just do an air horn in his face.
Smelling
So that was that answer. And then as far as the missing meetings and stuff, he's like, over the course of a season, guys are going to miss meetings. I can guarantee you that they've been disciplined to the fullest extent, blah, 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 blah. Lawyer talk bullshit. And then he starts going into it being like admitting that they don't have a good culture in them. Like, he like just was like, all right, here we go. But
he's like, by the way, all that was bullshit, but we do have a problem.
Yeah, all that's bullshit. We do have a problem, and we've been saying, he literally, this is the part I quote tweeted because I was like, what? He said, we've been trying to tell you guys all year that we were trying to create a new culture and trying to fix the culture in this clubhouse. And so I quote tweeted, like, basically he just said, like, we've been trying to tell you guys that this is shit, and now you guys are just realizing because receipts are coming out that how shitty this is.
And then obviously he named, the same way that Middleton put his name to what he was saying, he like made sure to be like, well, Middleton, he was pretty unprofessional. He would apologize to us. Yeah. He pretty much threw it out there. It's like, hey, you guys saw who we traded. We've been trying to clean it up.
That's what I was getting to. It's like,
you traded those guys because
They're
You wanted
expiring
that because you
contracts.
knew they're not going to come back.
Yeah, because they're expiring contract. I feel very, very confident when I say Lucas Giolito was not the cause for the bad culture in that locker room. Okay, maybe Middleton. Okay, maybe Graveman was a punk. I don't know, but like he made it sound like they like did surgery and removed the cancer. You know, and it's like, but then you look down the list of the guys they traded, you're like, I don't think that's it, boss. You know, like I don't know about that
By
one.
the way, look at the I mean, besides the Angels, who a little desperate there, but look at like the teams that were involved in the trades.
Yeah,
Like winning organizations, pretty
except for
good.
the Yankees.
Well, except for the pretty good. Pedro Grifol and Rick Hansfield were pretty good culture there between the Dodgers and Houston. You know, as much as shitty stuff that the Houston
That's a good
Astros were
point. I
doing.
guess I didn't even think about that.
But it's like, hey, like it seems like that these guys can thrive in good cultures elsewhere, huh?
Right, and it's just I don't know. Like that seemed like a complete that almost seems like something that Rick like threw in at the end just to kind of like see
Like-
if it stuck.
Like he was so pissed that all the dirty laundry was aired out.
Oh, big
That
time.
like he made it a point to be like, yeah, well, I mean, Middleton is the one. He had to apologize to me because, but then he knows he can't lie all the way either because he knows it because he's already said before because he did say he's like, yeah, well, I mean, we talked about it around the trade deadline. We're trying to build a better culture. Like he already has that out there. So it's not like he can be like, well, actually, what I said 2 weeks ago, I was lying then. We do have a good culture. So that's why he had to backtrack again and be like, well, yeah, we're trying to fix things.
I just kept picturing the Kevin Bacon from Animal House, like all is well, remain calm. But where was I going? So okay. So all that comes out, and it's like, all right, like this organization's a joke. Like everyone's laughing at them, you know. And as the Sox fan that I am, it's just like at this point, you just what the fuck? You just start laughing. Like it's all right. But in the meantime, the White Sox are low key winning games, and you're like, what? But a clip surfaced, and that's where my name is right now, of Rick Hahn talking to the press. It's like a grainy video. I don't even know.
Yeah, what was that?
Excuse me, where this is from or what was it? But basically, to paraphrase, Rick said like, it's tough to do your job when people are able to criticize you in real time, especially in that cesspool website, Twitter. And being the super rational people that everyone is on Twitter, everybody ran with it. Obviously myself included, where bruh, he is in no position to try to alienate any fans, let alone, I would argue, the most passionate fans that the team has. Because look at what's come of this cesspool. Okay, so I'm positives. I understand that Rick is mad because people are mean. That's very sad. I'm very sad for Rick. I get it.
Like this podcast just does an impersonation.
The short answer there is be better at your job.
Well, Zoe, it's your fault that you ruined the Jock Peterson trade 3 years
I know.
That's your fault.
Well, that was that other dude. I forget his name. But but look at like what comes out of this cesspool. So first of all, you got our homies in the 108. People go to games just to go sit in the 108 now. They don't go to watch your fucking dog shit baseball team. They go there to like hang out with other people from this community and like all this other shit. You got the homies, the Chicago sports bums. They're putting together these tailgates. Tons of people go to that shit. Like people go to games just because of these tailgates, and then they like happen to go into the game afterwards.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like there's the Barstool Chicago guys, and there's the Sox on 35th guys, there's the Sox Machine guys doing meetups, doing road trip games. Like these are your fans that are passionate enough during your fucking dog shit year to still put together these kind of functions and to get people to come to the games.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, Well, we're Swamp Thing coming out of a fucking cesspool. Well, again, if you don't want people to be mean on the internet, be better at your job. Do your job well. You've had 2 fucking winning seasons since you've been here. Won the playoffs and never gotten out of the first round. Got fucking embarrassed in the first round a couple years ago.
And one was a shortened 60-game season.
Yes. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this fucking guy. Like, you have a window last year. Like, you could actually do something. You get Jake Diekman as your only move at the fucking deadline. Get fucked, dude. Now I'm getting pissed off. Fuck you.
He's tone deaf, dude. He's never going to work in baseball again in any kind of like major leadership role after this.
No,
It's
he
not.
should have
It's
took
over.
the.
He has
He should have.
absolutely embarrassed himself.
He should have took the venture capital fucking.
Oh yeah, that one.
job
You see
years
that one
ago.
meme?
Yeah, that's hilarious. But you don't do that, man. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to be one of those guys like the fans pay your salary. Like, I'm not that guy because that's stupid. But your team is having arguably one of the most disappointing seasons in franchise history. With all the money you spent, all the hype, all this other stuff, and you have the audacity to go after some of them. Like, that's just
That's the
stupid
most
to me.
hilarious part because, like, I mean, the management, coaches, players, we see it all the time in all sports. They get mad at fans. They call them out, be like, "Oh, you gotta show support," whatever it is. But in some of those cases, like, they've actually won something. Maybe
If they won a playoff series, although
for
I'd be
Rick
good.
Hahn, to be mad about the criticism, like it's not like the the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020, the shortened year. We make fun of it. It's like fake season. Who cares? But at least the Dodgers, they've won the division 10 years in a row, 11 years in a row. So, like, if their GM comes out and be like, guys, we're being competitive here. If if Dodgers fans are way at the top, maybe they are. I have no idea. Same thing with Yankees fans. Yankees. Imagine Rick Hahn in New York. Yankees fans. The Yankees right now, by the way, I think they're about to lose 2-3 to the White Sox. A terrible series loss for them.
Yes. Well, now
The Yankees,
that's
there
where
were
we're at.
seasons. The Yankees were seasons in the past decade has been like, oh man, they only won 85 games. And Yankees fans are on their ass every year, and rightfully so. They want a winner. Rick Hahn hasn't won shit, and he's all like, guys, come on, stop crapping on me.
Yeah, it's so bad.
2 playoff wins.
2 playoff wins, 2 winning seasons.
Technically, right? 3 managers at this point.
Yep.
Wow, he's had way more. He's been GM since 2012.
Yeah.
He's had 4 men: Robert Ventura, Ricky, Tony, Pedro, and after this year, it might be.
Yeah. I wanted Pedro to be so good.
And that's the thing. I think it might be fine because I'm still not convinced that Rick Hahn's going to get fired.
I'm going to say this too in Pedro Grifal's defense too, man. And we were talking about it earlier. It's not feasible to clean up a broken clubhouse in 6 months. There's so much broken stuff in there when shit's been let slide. It's imagine trying to take a lawnmower to a lawn that hasn't been mowed in 2 years. You think your blade's going to be able to handle much of that? I mean, you got to trim it down a little bit at a time before you can even get manageable mowage. So in his case, he's trying, I'm sure, but how much can you do without benching half your team and it turning into an absolute train wreck in his first year? He's trying to balance that fine line between accountability and still maintaining at least some semblance of credibility, but a locker room. And hearing all the stuff that you see about this, look, it only takes 1 or 2 Eddie Haskells in a clubhouse, cancers in a clubhouse, to kill an entire 35 guys. It takes 1 or 2. It's the crazy thing. You can have 5 great leaders in a clubhouse, but you get 1 cancer, they could literally poison the entire deck. That 1 bad apple spoils the well, and it's very difficult to clean this stuff up. So for him, I don't put. I mean, he's going to wear some blame because he is the manager. He wears the cap. That's his job. He's got the pen. But at the same time, what do you expect from Pedro Grifal if you've got this much? Pattern behavior. You walked into the pattern behavior. What are you going to do? Just walk in and just kick everybody out of the locker room? Walk in you're, it just doesn't work in a modern locker room that way. So he can't just walk in there and it's not little big league where you can just cut a guy and just get the fuck out of here.
Right.
These guys got to walk that line. So it's tough for him. I would expect that as they continue to do this, I hope Rick Hahn's not part of the selection process because he obviously is a terrible judge of character. But I would think that maybe, you give Griffall a couple less of those. Some guys come and go, and then you can start building the culture that you'd like to build. But culture doesn't change in a year, man. It's going to take time no matter what. And so he deserves blame for certain aspects. At the same time, he needs time. You're not going to fix it in a day. This one's a big construction job.
Since Rick Hahn has taken over in 2013, here are the teams that have fewer wins than the White Sox: Miami, Detroit, Cincinnati, Colorado. End of list. The stones on that guy, and he knows. They're very, very, very aware of what White Sox Twitter does. Brooks Breuer knows about it because of his connection with the 108 guys. Like, they know what's up. And so for him to throw that comment out there, that wasn't on accident. I'm sure he regrets saying it because it's not going to go away now.
I don't think he does.
Does Rick Hahn search his own name on Twitter?
He said it before. There's that clip. It's been what was it, 4 years? He said the same thing back in August 2019.
He got to pass them because that was supposedly the start of the window. So people were so excited about what was going to happen.
Which is crazy, by the way, because remember,
don't do this, John. Do not do this, John.
That was Twitter.
Other teams had guys in World Baseball Classic, and they're not complete shit shows.
That was summer 2019.
Trey Turner.
That was summer 2019. When, again, they're still rebuilding, whatever. But that was after the offseason where they're like, oh, we gave Manny Machado the best offer.
Right.
But you didn't. And he was still on his fucking high horse. They didn't do shit. And he was still on his high horse to be like, when you have all these Twitter people criticizing me, like,
the people,
like, dude, you haven't won anything. At that point, he had one winning season as GM for the White Sox.
And then also, I want my GM to have confidence. I want my GM to have a little bit of, I'm that guy to him. But now he's got the famous "talk to me after the parade" quote, and the money will be spent, and however many quotes the guy just gives people like a full 6 chambers worth of ammunition. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man, you can't hide with that shit. Like,
that was the other one, Pedro Grifol. Again, it's probably not. Even when Tony La Russa, whoever, Ricky Renteria, Robin, it's at the end of the day, the players have to perform. It's the front office's job to get good players so that you actually have a winning team. But I said at the moment that clip came out, when Pedro Grifol was like, "We're gonna be ready to kick your ass every game,
everyone's ass." Yeah,
dude.
It's just,
come on, the shame bell. What are you guys doing? Everything about the Sox, it's just like cringe.
It's just
like if there's like a right move, a bad move, and they just pick the bad move every time.
Every time.
Oh, and then
Aaron Judge,
the latest news.
Aaron Judge just threw beef loaf a ball.
Oh.
Oh, that's not what you were referring to?
Oh, no. The latest news about the Sox Fest.
Oh God, I forgot about it. Yeah, so
oh no.
I came on here and I did a rant last year. I was hot about it last year, and if it happens like this again, I'm gonna be hot again this year. But so Sox Fest was back when things were still like looking okay, like there was still a shot. Now after all this madness, goofiness, whatever you want to call it, there may not be a Sox Fest because they don't want to go in front of the people. Now, here's what I think is going to happen. I 100% think this is going to happen. I think they have Sox Fest, but I also think they only sell like 300 tickets to it.
I was thinking like they're just going to do some special season ticket holders.
They already do that dinner. They already do that dinner, but like that's what Sox Fest is going to be. This guy's even pissed off about it. He's very upset. Look at his eyebrows. That's why I think this dog's hilarious, because of his permanent eyebrows. But yeah, That's what I think they're going to do, so they can be like, "Oh, we still had it. Hey, it's not our fault. Everybody couldn't get tickets."
They're gonna push like diehard loyalty bullshit.
Yep.
Be one of the 500 diehard fans coming
Yep.
out to our
Real
party.
fans never left.
If this happens, clip this.
You don't need this cesspool when
I
you've
feel
got family.
I feel so confident that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So confident. And then the last thing I want to talk about the White Sox, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Well, there's two things really.
Say
One-
Suzuki home run.
Oh, did he hit it? I thought the game was over.
Not yet.
they're
Not
down.
yet.
Top of the
You said they lost.
One swing away from
I
taking the
thought
lead.
they were going to.
Yeah, Dougie, that's a good point. They could just do like it's an autograph line, no panels, no nothing, so Rick can hide and blah blah blah. But two things. One,
Be like Rickon's busy, guys. It's the winter
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah, they're gonna. One, for some weird reason, this was a conversation today. Just don't be that guy. Let people be a fan however they want to be a fan. If they want to be a fan in the stands, let them be a fan in the stands. If they want to be a fan at home, let them be a fan at home. Some people got situations going on that you have no fucking clue about, and they can't go to games, or it's tough for them to go to games. Don't judge a person's fandom by how many games they attend. That's fucking stupid. You're better than that. If you're listening to this show, I already know you're better than that. So don't do that. And then the last thing, though, is why are the White Sox playing Elvis Andrus? Why are they playing Grandal? Why are these guys that are old and probably very good chance they're not on the team last year? You're out of it, dude. There's no wild card. There's no nothing for this team. Why not use this opportunity to give some of these kids major league reps and also to start your evaluation process for next year?
We talked about it last week, and that was I think Trace Thompson was still rehabbing or whatever. He was injured.
Oh, you're talking about everyday starter Trace Thompson?
And remember what I
Because
told you, dude.
we're
Like, if
running
I'm
it.
a White Sox fan and Trace Thompson plays a single fucking game this year,
Well, he's
I'd
played every
be
game,
livid.
although,
The very next day, I think he was in the starting line.
and he
like,
hasn't.
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Who wakes up in the morning and's like, we got to find a spot for Trace Thompson? Like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing?
Trying
Elvis
to up the
Andrus.
odds for that lottery. That's all, pretty much.
How old is Elvis Andrus?
It's like 35, isn't it?
35,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
36.
mean, why is he splitting time at second base? Well, tomorrow is Elvis night. I want to get Senior Sox. Here we go. Now's the time to see what these kids can do and what you can work on. Exactly. So why is Elvis Andrus splitting time with Remillard, who might be your second baseman? I know he's 27, but like he's got a better shot of being on this team next year than Elvis does. Why? You just got two catchers via trade. Why is Corey Lee? I know he's having a rough time in AAA. Bring him up.
Zach Remillard, by the way, is going to be 30 next year.
Jesus Christ. That's the farm system. Even though the farm system got a big boost with all these trades, but
Well, again, I mean, that's the thing. It's like you have Carlos Perez.
yeah.
And I guess he was brought up because Sebi got on the injured list.
Yeah, but Carlos
It's like,
Perez,
why the fuck do you still have Yasmani Grandal?
put him on a. They're gonna have to DFA him. They're gonna have to, especially with all this other shit. Like, just DFA him. He's having a terrible year. He brings nothing to the table. And another thing that came out when all that shit was coming out was that basically the pitching staff fucking hates the guy.
Yeah, like that's the other part.
Oh,
So,
wow.
because right now you're bringing up guys,
Cubs
'cause you
win.
have like no pitching depth, so you're just bringing up. It seems like
Third-
it's a new name.
The Cubs had Candelario on first, nobody out, and then the Mets pitcher threw over for the third time.
Ooh.
Huh.
Balk.
Did he get him?
Third disengagement. Runner now tying run at second base, nobody out. 3-2
Beautiful.
count on Pride of Palatine, the Palatine pimp.
So the
Mike
White Sox, they keep calling up guys because like they have to. They have no one who can go deep in games. So like they just keep bringing up guys. They keep signing former top prospects. That's all Rick has. Hey Rick, hey top prospect. I love him.
Yeah.
Winning run on first now. Guys on
So
first.
you
and second.
have, so now you keep starting Yasmani Grandal, who he's been at the lake house mentally for since
Right.
the All-Star break.
I mean,
He doesn't give a shit. He
I think a
wants
lot
to
of
help this
people
team.
like Timmy will buy his damn ticket.
Yeah.
Hold on, Fitz says, what happened, Fitz?
Magical up, 2 on, no out, top of the ninth. Are they going to make
You
him
have
butt
the
here?
stories of him not going to meetings. We've
Please don't.
seen it for a while now that he's not whatever good
He's so
defensive
checked out, dude.
traits he had.
Yeah.
They're gone. So he's only hurting your whatever you're trying to do. He's just hurting you at every aspect.
Yeah. Just get him out.
The
Perez needs to
Pedro
be up.
Grifol being like, we can't sacrifice the wins for development. You're 14 games back of first place.
Yeah.
You're 20 games under 500. What are you talking about?
Wait. There was no outs with bases loaded. Kyle Higgler, whatever, grounds into a double play. Elvis to shortstop, TA to Andrew Vaughn, Harrison Baylor out at second. Kyle at first. Someone must have someone struck out. So they had bases loaded, no outs, and the Yankees didn't score. Known shutdown man Aaron Bummer came in and closed that door.
Hey, that's why I wanted the Cubs to trade for him. He's good.
I just don't understand what we're doing here, folks. This isn't your team next year. None of these guys that we've mentioned are cornerstone. That's the name of your porn. Cornerstone players. Elvis, why is he playing? Yasmani, why is he playing? Now that Mitch is here, I can freely say it. Sebi, why is he taking up a roster spot? Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, no, and it's because I personally, I have a very bad habit with the White Sox, which everybody knows, where I like find a prospect that should be good that isn't doing well, and I like attach my wagon to him.
You mean like Cubs sensation Nick Madrigal, who's tearing it up with the Cubs as a starting third baseman?
And I think next year is going to be Corey Lee. I don't know why. I like Corey Lee. But why not, dude? Why is Colson Montgomery still in Birmingham? He's hitting well, and we all know hitting well in Birmingham is very hard to do.
I can see that one. I mean, I think he's only been there for like a month.
Do you want him in this bullshit clubhouse?
Yeah,
I wouldn't want him poisoned by this bullshit.
Well,
he shouldn't play a single inning with some of those slap dicks. Like, he should never
guys.
with them.
They clearly got rid of the cancers when they traded away the nicest guys in the world in Lucas Giolito and Jake Berger. So the clubhouse is fixed because, as Pedro's quoted as saying, we're building the new foundation on solid rock instead of muck. What are you talking about?
He's saying that,
I do have to say,
Andrew
the
Vaughn
White
does a lot of
Sox are giving writers, bloggers great ammunition because there was some fire columns this week.
It's quote after quote after quote after quote, just boom, 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 like
Vander Sox rules here. Vander Sox rules, man.
I mean,
drama.
I mean, it's been pointed out, and anytime we talk about the dysfunction of the White Sox, and we mentioned briefly, but then this all goes back to the ownership, because the players see that the front office, there's no accountability. They can fuck up. They can keep fucking up. Nothing's going to happen. So it's like, well, okay, the owner doesn't care about, or my boss doesn't care about their boss.
Right.
Why the fuck should I care when things are going bad? I'm good.
Right.
They're bunting with Madrigal here. He's not a good bunter. Is he a good bunter? I can't remember.
He's supposedly good, but I don't recall him ever laying down a good one. But I just don't get what the White Sox are doing in that aspect of it. The funny thing is they're winning games now.
Dude, they're gonna spin it. Oh my god, they're gonna go on a run here.
It's so annoying, dude. They're gonna finish the season only like 10 games out instead of 14. Oh, we made a good run at the end there. I would not be surprised if we do see some pitchers starting to get the call up.
Can I say something real quick? Christopher Morel right now, 1 out, runners at second, third, top of the 9th inning. I'm really curious if the kid's gonna actually like try and just put the ball in play instead of swing out of his shoes and try to hit a home run instead of driving this tying run in here. 4-3, 1 out. Great opportunity here. Infield drawn in too, by the way.
So the last thing I want to say about the White Sox, because we're gonna turn over to the Cubs, because that's what people in Chicago should be talking about, because they're actually playing good baseball right now. But as someone that's rooted for this team, followed this team, discusses this team every week for the last 5 years, wrote articles about this team for now over 10 years, it's just it's not like upsetting anymore. It's just like so disappointing, almost at the verge of heartbreaking, to see what my favorite team has become. Like
And what
they're
sucks, man,
they are the joke of Major League Baseball right now. They are the butt of every joke. The Down Goes Anderson radio call was heard in clubhouses across baseball, which kind of talks about how other players feel about Tim Anderson. But like,
yeah.
it's just it sucks, man. Like it's embarrassing.
And
I'm embarrassed to be a White Sox fan. It's the first time I've ever said that.
And like that's the what sucks is like I brought it up how when all all the other stories were started to come out this week, and it's like it just and again maybe it's just the ownership, whatever their culture is for the White Sox,
Yeah, I don't even know what
because
that means.
there's always been some sort of bullshit. Like I forgot how terrible it ended when Frank Thomas left the White Sox. Like he went out the door like trashing everybody too. Everybody wants Ozzie Guillen back. When he quit on the team,
His last,
everybody hated
yeah,
him when he left.
the last thing that
Sorry.
Ozzie Guillen did before he left was quit on the team.
What was it back in 2016 spring trade? The players, the White Sox players, wanted to walk out in protest of Kenny Williams because they were trying to defend a 14-year-old being in the clubhouse. Like it's just there's always some sort of
Yeah, and I mean I
bullshit.
get it. Like it's numb. That Dougie, thank you. I'm a boy Dougie here in the comments. It's just numbing. I think that's the perfect way to describe exactly what I'm feeling about this team right now. It's numbing. And like I've seen people talk about like, with the cesspool comments, like Hans just sticking up for himself and whatever. Okay. Like, come on, man. Like just be better at your job. And if you were a good GM, like look at what they did in Texas to turn that program around so much. Look at what I mean, I know Arizona's kind of taking a nosedive, but look at what they did to get their season going this year. Look at Cincinnati's taking a nosedive too, and Fidge, you definitely call that, but just this year more than any, we've seen this parity in baseball. Like, do you think their GMs are sitting there worried about what the fuck people are saying about them on Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the other part. Hey, Rick, get off Twitter.
Like, who gives a
Get off
shit?
Twitter, get off X, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah, oh yeah, X. Sorry. But do you really think these guys really give a shit about what's? And another thing I was thinking about, and this is completely, but do you think Reinsdorf kids ever just go on Twitter just to see how many people just wish death upon their dad?
Dude,
That's got to be such a weird thing. Like I was thinking about that, like trying to put yourself in their shoes, like going on to social media and just like typing your dad's name and seeing like hundreds upon hundreds of people being like, well, when he dies.
How old are they? Because I only know of Michael, who runs the Bulls now.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're old. They got to be older. Maybe they have no idea.
Well, what if their kid? Okay, so it's your grandpa.
I think it's the grandkids. Dude, yeah, that's gotta be. Oh yeah, because that's who it is. It's the grandkids. It's not the kid. It's the.
There's a difference though between saying he like wishing it on him, and then there's a difference between just saying. I mean, it's real. He's up in age, man. He's up there. He's lived actually a full life.
No.
I mean,
but there are fans.
You can talk about what goes on after. I mean, you do that with family, don't you? I mean, but it's the angry, ugly ones that make it worse. Like that's
Jerry's 87 years old.
Yeah, they gotta know it's coming.
But he has 4 kids, and I'm guessing his kids have kids. So I'm just saying, think of it this way, you go, you're what, probably 15 years old or whatever. Well, let's hop on X. And you type in your grandpa's name, and it's just a bunch of strangers that you no idea who they are, just talking about his death.
Yeah,
that's wild to me. That's got to be horrible. Oh, I don't know why. I just started randomly thinking about that when everyone was just going in on Han. I know Han's kids are what I think they're in their 20s or something like that, but that's just gotta be rough. That's just gotta be brutal, man. I get they probably had to talk about it, explaining how it comes with the territory and all this stuff, but that's bad, dude. And I know I've said the last thing. This is really the last thing. I get fans' frustration, and I understand how becoming part of something makes you feel better about things, but this whole reverse boycott that White Sox fans are planning to like do what they did in Oakland, I don't see how you think that's a good idea. Let's stick it to Jerry by buying a bunch of tickets.
I think I remember when Bulls fans were doing that and buying the billboards and doing the protests and stuff. I remember I had the same attitude then, but I think the explanation from the people setting it up, I thought it was fair. It was like, okay,
I get it, but I also know who they're trying to get a message to.
yeah. I mean, it's not gonna matter.
Hey, get a spot at Grant Park and have someone have like just a score on like an analog board that just flips it over and have everybody down there just enjoying it away from the ballpark.
As long as he can make no money off it.
Yeah, support another business, a local business. Just find a place for a large gathering.
So here's what's going to happen, Fids. He'll find out where they're buying that from, and he'll buy that company like the day before. That's just what he does. But I'm just saying, like, you gotta really know who you're trying to get your message to, and the person they're trying to get their message to thrives on one thing and one thing only, and that is making money. He doesn't care about your feelings. He doesn't care about winning teams. He doesn't care about any of that. So the way to get to him is not by selling out his stadium. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. Good for them. I'm not knocking it. It's not my thing, but it's just, yeah, it's, again, I guess it's part of the whole just kind of feeling numb to the White Sox right now, because there's just, it's never been a more ridiculous time to be a White Sox fan. But when stuff gets this bad, I will say that this is some of the times when White Sox Twitter has some of its finest moments, because I feel like people bond over a hatred of the same thing, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, everybody likes talking about how shitty the White Sox are. So, that Cody Bellinger in July, huh? Just trying to see if you guys
I'm sorry, the Cubs just lost too. I mean, hey, I'm glad these losses like actually hurt again.
This is a David Ross failure. He should never have bunted with Magical. I said it a few minutes ago. You don't do that with known swing and miss guys on deck.
Although, please clip that. Clip that so you just have. Just clip it so you have Fitz saying you should never bunt.
As you know, you don't bunt poorly. That is a stupid ass bunt situation. First and second, nobody out. Magical up. Two guys that are known guys that won't shorten up. You know they're not going to shorten up, so there's no point in actually moving runners over if you have guys. Those guys are going to hit a home run, or they're going to make an out, or they're going to hit a double. They're not going to do anything that's going to be any kind of. You can't play the first out small ball and then the rest out fucking caveman ball, which is what that was. Christopher Morel didn't swing at a single fucking strike, not a single fucking strike. But
Fids, I just refreshed Twitter, and the first thing that came up was Cody Delmendo from CHGO. Good dude. We should probably have him on the show one time. But the tweet just says, bunting is dumb, but at least Seiya is back. And it's just a gif of him.
Seiya's back. Seiya had 3 hard hits tonight, had a home run finally.
But the bunting is dumb definitely feels like
especially because what was Kevin saying during that right before he was taking that at bat? Dick Magical's been on fire at the plate. He's Nicky Laser Show again.
Oh boy.
And then you have him bunt. Stupid. No. I'd rather like bunting. Obviously, we know that.
I wish I still cared about outcomes of baseball games.
But before this series, which again, I am pitting this squarely on Joe Girardi in the booth. Bad vibes guy, just talks way too much. Just give us Jim Deshaies.
Can we talk about how good Cody Bellinger is? Because I
Cody Bellinger. I don't know what he did. I forget what he did.
Well,
tonight.
Hold on. Let's back up though. So let's talk about where Cody Bellinger was before he got to the Chicago.
Okay.
Former MVP, completely lost his shit. He went from MVP to one of the worst players in baseball.
People forget though, and I don't think this is as known because it's LA from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. Baseball is very geocentric.
Yes.
Cody Bellinger's his shoulder injury was just like a freak accident. He did the whole like.
Yep.
celebrating a home run in the
Yep.
2020 NLCS, fucked up his shoulder, needed off-season surgery, and took him like a year and a half to recover. It wasn't like, oh man,
Right.
this guy's breaking down year
Yeah.
after year. Look at him, the
He just-
shoulder.
yeah,
Is
he didn't
something
just-
wrong there.
I've heard
The
that from
freak
Dodgers
accent.
fans out here so frequently. Like it's ad nauseum. So Dodgers fans have been talking about the shoulder, the shoulder, and that's what everyone keeps saying every time you talk to a Dodger fan about Bellinger too. Is his shoulder must be healthy because that's vintage Cody Bellinger. They know what good Cody looks like.
Right.
Obviously, they've seen it, so they notice that. No, of course. Then again, they're also in this mode that they think Cody Bellinger is coming back home in the offseason. But
Nothing's guaranteed, dude. For some reason, the Dodgers, out of any other team, guys tend to gravitate back to it. I think he signs with the Cubs. I think they make him a massive offer, but it's just
Let's
weird with the
hope so.
Dodgers, dude. It's really weird with the Dodgers. Guys always trying to gravitate back to that team. But so there you go, Cody Bellinger, injured shoulder, horrible year. He basically, everybody knew he was getting out of LA. He needed a change of scenery. Dodgers fans were done with him, or overly frustrated with him to the point where it was just like, let me go start somewhere else and prove to Major League Baseball that I can still do this. I can still be an MVP caliber player. A couple teams were in the running. I really wanted him on the White Sox for a lot of reasons. He decides to go to the Cubs on a prove it deal. 1 year, 1 year prove it deal. I mean, everyone on this show has always been high on Cody Bellinger. I think
it's been my favorite non-Cub for like
the other part of the Cody Bellinger prove it deal. It wasn't just that it's like with a 1 year and then the option is. He's getting $17.5 million.
Right.
This wasn't like we'll give you. We'll
this
give you
is it was a lifeline deal.
Yeah, it was like, hey,
this
dude,
is it,
we
dude.
know you're good. Make your money this year. You're gonna opt out.
Right.
But we know you're good.
So he comes in. He didn't come out of the gate hot with the Cubs, but he was still showing signs of life.
He had a rough first 3 games, then he got hot for a little bit, and then he got hurt.
It was literally, he started the year. I remember because I remember writing about it at the end of April. He started against the Brewers 0 for 11, had like 5 strikeouts. And then he finished the month of April being the top 3 player in the National League.
And then
he had 3 bad games.
So if I read this correctly, and you guys please obviously correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in the Cubs system noticed one little thing with his swing. Like he was overcompensating for something with the injured shoulder or something like that, and they made a small adjustment. And now Cody Bellinger in July was just National League Player of the Month. He hit over 400. He had 8 home runs. He's still the thing too, I think it's kind of like a Joey Gallo with Cody Bellinger. Everyone knows him for the bombs and everything, and they just assume he's a goon in the outfield. No, that's Gold Glove defense, bro.
At first and center field.
That's Gold Glove defense.
He's made a couple incredible plays at first base, especially he made with that double play that he turned.
The strikeout rate, his strikeout rate, which soared when his shoulder was messed up with the Dodgers the past few years. It's back way down. He's walking as much as he should. Lately when he was in July, he was hitting everything. He wasn't walking as much, but his strikeout rate is back down to what he was when he was winning MVP in 2019.
More stolen bases than strikeouts.
August entering Wednesday's game, 5 stolen bases, 3 strikeouts, and 6 games.
So
I mean, just incredible. He was pretty. My expectations. I knew as long as he was healthy, which that was why they signed him. It's if the Cubs were that shoulder still doesn't look good, they weren't gonna give him the $17.5 million guaranteed.
And so
once the expectation was that he was going to play and he was going to be healthy, it's he's going to have a good season. I didn't think it was going to be this great.
And I know, I mean, obviously not as much as White Sox fans, which is justified, but I know Cubs like to give, Jed Hoyer and Cubs front office a hard time, which they should, about a bunch of stuff. But to get MVP Bellinger for 17 mil, that's sick, dude.
It's the best thing that Jed Hoyer has done as that's probably going to be the '1 move he's made as a GM or as in president of operations. Excuse me.
Granted, it's basically a gamble that paid out.
Mm-hmm.
It paid out, and so now you have this guy, Gold Glove, who can play outfield and first base, lefty power bat that just hits fucking bomb. I love when he hits no doubters. He hits tanks, and so
great clubhouse guy.
one thing, obviously, is being a Chicago fan my whole life. This city, like most cities, like every city, loves winners. And I feel like Cubs, more than the White Sox, your fan base gives these guys like these nicknames and like runs wild with like individual player love. And I think we're seeing it with like the Palatine Pounder right now and
Yeah,
like
it's-
all this other shit. And like Cody Bellinger, when you go to a team like the Cubs, I feel like guys can get swept up in the Cubs like aura, like the history, the Wrigley Field, like the Wrigleyville, like all this stuff. And it seems to me, again, this is an outsider looking in, that Corey has really embraced it. And he looks really happy where he is.
I'm sure when other teams are winning, their ballparks sound
Similar.
amazing.
Yep.
But there is just something that does feel, again, biased Cubs fan. When you watch these games, like the Friday afternoon games at Wrigley, it's, the afternoon. It sounds like a playoff game when the team is good, they're winning, there are big moments. That I think that does play into guys like, hey, this feels it's
Right.
cliche. It feels different. It does.
Yeah.
I think to them, it does feel different compared to other times in
That's a
other
lot.
stadiums, other teams.
You're talking about a lot of energy that's being given out to these guys. Like, it's easy to get up for a game when you go out there and every time you're coming up in a big situation, you've got everybody on their feet and everybody's jumping around ready to rock. And they're, you've got a safe situation in a situation maybe where the Cubs need a big run. And again, it puts the pressure on the opposition. Guys maybe can't clear the mechanism and make stupid mistakes. And we've seen it. We've seen teams give away games to the Cubs. How many times it feels like the Cubs have actually scored via walk or hit by pitch with the bases loaded? It seems to happen a lot home. So you're right, Aldo. You're right. You're 100%. It's different.
So
it is. I mean, it gets made fun of, but like it does. Like games at Wrigley Field, when the team is playing well, they're winning. Fans are into it. Like first pitch, that series against the Braves, and that first game was shit. The first 3 innings were great, and then Kyle Hendricks gave like 7 runs in like 10 minutes. We're like, fuck. But
so
those
I
weekend
know
games, Saturday, Sunday were amazing.
I know we're talking about happy stuff right now, but yet another embarrassing White Sox thing has come to light in the last couple minutes. And Ian, Twitter account Southside Boys tweeted out, did the Sox really not acknowledge Middleton? Like I said, they didn't put his name up, they didn't whatever. And then Stephanie Middleton replied, classy. And then she replied again saying, kicking his kids out of the daycare too. Yet another classy move.
Oh.
Hey,
he's not on the team.
You gotta be shitting me.
Get the kids out of there.
Oh my God. Numb, dude. Just numb. Like, holy shit, dude.
Imagine it's Rick Hahn himself.
Just go, hey, you two, you gotta go. Grab your Thomas the Train Engine lunchbox and get out of here. Dad talks shit about my organization.
He pulls out his phone, he records it, sends it to Middleton. Like, get your kids out of my daycare.
Just absolutely brutal.
No, sucks.
Yeah.
Family values, though.
What a culture.
How many times are they gonna kick someone's kid out of something? Jeez, Pete.
I mean, that's brutal, dude. But sorry. No, and I guess to the point we were all making, Cody Bellinger seems like a very good fit.
Yes.
He's a blasting day. He's like a day game blast. Like he's great on day games. I think when you get fans get a little drunk, and then he's got that kind of cool.
From Obvious Shirts before the season.
Charger fellow.
Cody Bellinger, ultimate vibes guy.
Yeah,
he's a vibes guy.
He's huge, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted him on the White Sox. Which a lot of you told me he was washed, by the way. So you can all suck it. But it's just. And we saw that was Jed, right, who did the presser where they asked him about, and he just smiled like, we don't talk about that, but feel pretty confident he's not going anywhere.
Let's hope so, because let me tell you, if he doesn't, I'm going to be back on Jed's ass. If he
You should be. You should.
Jed's built up a lot of goodwill the past month or two.
What
doesn't bring back Cody Bellinger.
Imagine not trading someone being like the best move you've ever made.
So my question that I wanted to get to with you two, what does the contract for Bellinger look like?
I keep saying, I think I keep bringing up the George Springer one.
That's a fair. Okay.
I think he's younger than Springer, and that was the
Market,
Springer
too.
contract was a couple of years ago. I mean, it's going to be healthy.
Oh yeah.
It should be. And it should be. Pony the fuck up. It's what it is. You want good players, you pay.
I don't know. I'm
Yep.
trying to think of what are other big outfield contracts right now. Shit.
Let's see. Let's look at some of these.
Mookie?
Harper.
That's the thing.
He's not at that level.
He's
though.
not at that level, so he's not going to get that.
Yeah.
But I
5
can
years.
see him getting like 30 a year.
5 years, 140. Opt out after 3.
Like, sure.
That actually sounds pretty fair to me. Good call.
Judge.
I think he has.
Yeah, you can't compare him to Aaron Judge.
Yeah, no, he's not. He has a $25 million option, I think, for 24. So like, be like, hey, let's just add on to that. Let's do like another 5 years after that at, between 27 and 30 million a year.
I think the Yankees are not super pumped about that contract they gave Stanton.
No, they traded for it.
Yeah.
The Marlins gave Stanton that contract.
Yeah. That makes a lot more sense. But Stan's been okay. But as I said that, he just struck out with 2 on and 1 out to Santos. Somebody woke Santos up. He's out there throwing smoke right now.
So based on what I'm seeing from the outfield rankings or whatever, obviously when you get past that first tier of guys, like Judge, Trout, Harper, it's actually pretty interesting. I think 28 million seems to be. I mean, I hate to do this because I'm not trying to throw any shade at KB either, but KB's 28 million as an outfielder. So if you're going to get that kind of, because KB has the potential to produce like Bellinger's doing in a manner, too, if he's healthy and playing well, but he's not right now. But Bellinger, I think a healthy Bellinger, a healthy KB, I think 28 million is an actual value. Like I think that's a fair value. I think a 28 million AAV. Now the length of it, maybe having five with a maybe some options at the end or whatever, maybe some obviously no trade considerations or some opt out stuff is at the end obviously. But you also, I mean, if you front load it a little bit and you have it make it less expensive to on the back end, you can also, there'll be a tradable contract towards the end if it does turn into a Bellinger. But he has so much value defensively. Even when he's not hitting, you throw him at first base. He's a Gold Glove defender, so you don't need that much from him. You know what I mean? So
he's just. I mean, like you said, he's like comparable to when KB was in his prime, still doing his thing. And you're talking about a solid all around player. Now, Cody Bellinger's defense better than KB at third base, where he's Gold Glove at 2 positions. He runs the base as well. He can steal bases, great speed on the bases, hits for power, hits for contact, walks. And this year, when he's shown that when he's healthy, he's not like a strikeout machine. It's not like Joey Gallo. It's not like he's hitting 200. And yeah, he's going to hit for power, but he's going to have a low on base. Like, no, this dude is an all around great player.
And the guy that he brings to the table as a clubhouse leader, too, you have a young slam bang, also solid, excellent, fantastic power hitting young center fielder coming up through the ranks. And you have a couple of first basemen, too, that might be a lefty guys. You have someone that can actually put their arm around a Pete Crow Armstrong when it is this type, like maybe like year 2 or 3 of his contract. Now you can say, hey, PCA, you want to take the job? You want to be the starting center fielder? Be better than Cody Bellinger. Strive. Competition breeds excellence. But having that problem is a great one to have when you have a veteran leader that's going to put his arm around a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong and help him be that kind of guy as a professional athlete. Like you're paying Cody Bellinger just as much as a mentor figure towards the back end of this, because you're bringing up some really good young talent and he's going to help craft them as professionals. So there's other value there that it kind of expands on the outer half of that too, which makes it, again, a very good value. They should pay him early, though. Don't let him actually hit free agency. Just throw whatever he wants and add 10%.
White Sox are getting that sweet, sweet national attention that they crave about not putting his name up on the scoreboard.
Hey, I mean, maybe they forgot how to spell his name. They didn't want to get embarrassed that way.
I do find it crazy that what's his name? Where'd it go? Mookie Betts only makes $25 million.
Well,
I feel like I feel that's low.
No. Didn't he get like the Bobby Bonilla though?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's gonna be getting paid for a long time. I'm almost
Freddie
positive.
Freeman, by the way. Can we just pay tribute to how good both Freddie Freeman and Ozuna are this year? In a normal year, Freddie Freeman is the walkaway MVP. In a really normal year, Cody Bellinger could be, but
I know. Betts is getting 30 a year.
oh, is it 30? The salary
He
thing says
got
28.
12 years, 365 million.
Oh, this year his salary is 25 million. According
Maybe
to
he
this.
got like a signing bonus or something. But yeah, you got to bring back.
Oh, the
Cody
back end of this
Bellinger.
contract. The back end of the contract goes up to 30 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he got Bobby Bonilla.
Just like Liam Hendricks, I didn't realize that was Liam Hendricks' contract. He's good. He's gonna get Bobby Bonilla.
I think it's
He's
$5
gonna
million.
get like $1.5 million for 10 years.
I hope Liam comes back.
So listen to this. It's $115 million deferred from 2033 to 2044. It's $65 million. It's $5 million every year from 2021 all the way to 2032. Then $2 million a year from 2033 to 34, $1 million in 35, and then $115 million deferred over 2033 to 2044.
God damn.
Well, I think I think some of those Nationals deals were the same. I think Strasburg, he has a whole bunch of deferred money. I think Harper maybe with the Phillies.
God,
Incredible. Oh, I mean, speaking of big contracts, like what is Shohei Ohtani's contract?
A gazillion dollars. Oh wait, we got more on the daycare gate here.
What do we got?
She said, just to clarify, it was brought to management on several occasions by several. She's talking about something else. Why assume he didn't try and address this with the coaching staff and front office while still on the team? This team gets media coverage on the daily. We will all know. Please stop. And then she came in and basically said that Middleton tried to bring it to management on several occasions, and it was brought to management by several different players. So basically somebody was like, why didn't Middleton ever just say something to somebody? And wife just came in and was like, he has multiple times.
Which, by the way, again, going back to Rick Hahn's his press conference and his comments even before that in his other press conference after the trade deadline, you could tell obviously there was a problem because they were the ones who brought it up first.
Right.
They're like, yeah, we're trying to build it. Pedro Grifol spent like an entire week just talking about culture.
Yep.
How we're trying to get better culture. So like, yes, obviously stuff was happening. I don't know why there's any pushback.
Oh boy.
I do want to say the Cubs, obviously they've been playing pretty good baseball for a couple of months now. But also shout out to the National League. I didn't think they were going to suck this much. The Arizona Diamondbacks, I don't know what they're doing Wednesday night, but they're like 7-23 their last 30. The Miami Marlins, they've been fumbling around since the All-Star break.
All these teams that were like fun, feel good stories are like
I mean, the only teams are like the Phillies are like the only teams still.
Yeah, homeboy came out and threw the no hitter tonight.
Lorenzen,
Phillies finish strong. They do well finishing strong.
The Giants been playing better.
Organization.
Yeah, Giants are definitely.
But all these
teams,
I thought the Padres were going to go on a run. I thought the Padres were going to go on a run, and then they got their shit pushed in against the Dodgers.
Pushed it hard.
Well, this is like Fizz was saying. This is when the cream rises. You know what I mean? Like
the Brewers.
Games for a reason.
The Brewers. I've been obviously because the Cubs are back in the division race too. I've been watching a lot of the Brewers games lately. That's not a good team either. The Brewers, they beat the Rockies 2 out of 3, and then they split against the Pirates this past weekend. They're fortunate that they split against the Pirates.
They almost lost the Rockies. They won extra innings against the Rockies too. Like it was like
an error. It's a terrible play by the Rockies shortstop.
Rockies were up like 5-0 or 4-0 or something like that.
Another team that everyone thought was gonna be good and then started out slow. They're starting to make a little run. The Mariners, they've won their last 6 games.
They've been
the Rangers though.
The Rangers
are sick, dude.
wagon right now.
Max Scherzer, and it's gross.
So like Seattle, they traded away their closer to the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks traded their setup / closer and Chafin to the Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mean, I guess they upgraded, but like the Diamondbacks, their offense, oh my god,
They've lost their last 7 games. Their run differential is now -19 on the season. They're 10 games out of behind the Dodgers now. Like,
dude, we were talking about them. They were supposed to go after Giolito.
yep,
They
Well,
haven't, and damn.
that was the biggest like knock against them at the trade deadline is they just didn't do a goddamn thing to help out their starting pitching, and it was a glaring need.
Like them, Cincinnati. That was the funniest part. The Cincinnati Reds, again, it was a great story. I just wish they were in a different division than the Cubs. They didn't. The most obvious need. And that's the thing. They didn't have to make, like, I know we kept saying, like, oh, what if they trade for Giolito? Or what if they, like, are ballsy and they go after Scherzer or Verlander? Like, they could have just added anyone, just like depth starter.
Yep,
Get
they
someone
could have
who's
got
at least got the-
Lorenzo. They could have got any of these guys.
Yeah. They didn't do shit. They got one left-handed reliever who's all right, fine. And then that week, they gave up 36 runs in 2 games to the Cubs. They lost 6 in a row. Their starting pitchers couldn't like get out of the 4th inning. It's like, yeah, you kind of did that to yourself, Reds.
Yeah. It's
And
just,
then they lost. They got swept by the Nationals at home, and then I forget if they lost 2 or 3 of the Marlins. They've been scuffling. Just a lot of mediocrity, and this is what we said. This is what I kept mentioning when the Cubs were shitting down their leg in May. Which the Cubs season seems a lot more worse than it is because May has been their only losing month.
Mhm.
But it's like we kept saying, you don't have to be that great of a team. And I was just talking about the National League Central.
right.
But like besides the Dodgers and the Braves, and like the Giants, they're playing good ball. Phillies lately. There's not a lot of great teams in the National League.
There really
Like
isn't.
you just have to be like kind of okay, and you're going to get in the playoffs. And then obviously the Cubs have been doing that.
Yep.
But it's going to be a great race here for the Cubs. I
So-
think frustrating as hell
Right.
to beat the best team in baseball and then go out and lose 2 or 3 to the fucking Mets who sold everyone and suck.
I don't think Miami has the horses to stay in the wild card. And so with the Cubs and Cincinnati both being a half games out, Arizona's 2 games out of the wild card. San Diego's for some reason still only 4 games out of the wild card in the NL. That's going to be the fun race to watch. Is that NL wild card because
a lot of teams. Oh.
I mean, if you go over to the American League, like Seattle's 2.5 games out, then Boston and New York are 5 games out. The Angels are 7.5. Like it's, I mean, the wild card teams in the AL right now is Tampa Bay, Houston, and Toronto. Like all 3 of those teams more than have enough firepower to stay there. Where
the Rays, though, the injuries are catching up.
Oh, I think like even their mascot got Tommy John. Like, dude, it is just why I don't know what is going on down there. But
the I think they're like 4 or 5 games ahead in first for the first wild card.
Yeah.
But dude, you get into the dog days, though the bullpen guys aren't as sharp as they were back in April and May. They keep getting more innings on guys. There was a reason they were trying to trade for Lance Lynn. They needed someone to just go out there and eat innings. And hey, Lance Lynn has been pretty good with the Dodgers, but I don't know, man. The Rays might.
Did you hear the whole Lance Lynn interview with AJ? Did you watch the whole thing or just the part about the Sox?
Just the Sox part.
So, dude, it was pretty funny. So AJ asked him, or it wasn't AJ, it was another call. He's like, "Hey, man, I noticed since you've been back on the Dodgers, you're pitching better and you're definitely utilizing that fastball a little bit more. What's up with that?" And the first thing he says is, "Well, it's a little easier to pitch when you have the lead." I was just like, "Oh, Lance." And then but he also said that right away, LA's pitching, isn't it Mark Pryor?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Mark Pryor right away was just like, your elbow is here, it needs to be here, and we need your arm slot to be here on your 2-seamer. And he's like, these little tweaks, all of a sudden, I'm feeling better. I'm seeing a little bit more movement on my stuff. I have a lot more confidence in my fastball, which he only throws fastballs. And so, but yeah, when he dropped that, it's easier to pitch when you have the lead. I was just like, yo, so they all started laughing too. It was
Hey,
pretty funny.
I do gotta say that first start, he was pitching great. He pitched I think 7 or 8 innings against the A's, and he was leading. Dodgers were leading all the way. He gave up 3 home runs like in an inning, and
Right.
the Dodgers were like, "Well, he will do that."
Yep. Well, that's yeah. I mean, that's what it.
But
Lucas
he,
hasn't.
but that's
Lucas
the
is
other thing.
having a tough time in LA, but
I was catching some of those Dodgers games too. They love Joe Kelly. He
Oh,
is a rock star there.
well,
And I mean, he was
that's
great
one
with
of
them.
the. Again, that's why I wouldn't say Belly coming back to the Cubs is 100% because Belly, like these dudes like going back to the Dodgers. It's just weird. Like again, I think it's like 98% chance he goes back to the Cubs, but like you just with that LA team, you just cannot rule it out. I'm sorry, you just can't rule it out. It's weird. I don't know how else to describe it, but apparently Elvis just cleared the bases as a big old fuck you to me for saying why is he playing.
There
But
you go. I mean, you're trying to win ball games, so
you gotta win. Got to win ball games. Apparently, when you're 14 games out of the worst division in baseball,
you gotta cut down you gotta chase.
I'm telling you all. I'm not kidding. There's just random times during the day where I'll just sit here and be like, all they had to be is a 500 team, and I get like seriously upset. Like it's just like,
Well, no, I mean we've been talking about it since the trade deadline how they've been saying like, oh, we're trying to compete for 2024, the Salvador Perez rumors. And we always have these conversations. It's like, well, how, like, when we talk about the Bears and their coaches, it's like, well, how much do you actually want them to win? Because they're the problem. And if they keep winning, they're going to stick around longer. Like,
right.
imagine if the Sox just end the season. I'm not saying they're not going to get to the playoffs. Let's just say they go on a run here. They finish above 500 in the second half. They're going to point to that and be like, hey, we finished strong. We have a good group here. Jerry's going to be like, we trust the front office and the decisions they're making.
Well, they're up 8-2 now on the Yankees, but
they're going to point to like, watch. They're going to.
How can I say
they'll
this?
They'll beat the Cubs because of baseball.
Yeah.
They'll point to that at the end of the year, be like, we faced some teams who were trying to get to the playoffs. We knocked them off.
So.
Cleveland, that series win in Cleveland. Like, hey, we're facing division rivals, and they're trying to make the playoffs. We played well against them.
It's tough to like put this into words. So, I will always root for White Sox wins. Always will. The White Sox winning right now, or finishing the second half of the season over 500, might be more harmful to the team than it would be good. So it's a confliction because yes, then there's their crutch. Exactly what Aldo said. Look how we finished. Look at this team.
Even if you want to go to like the draft talk, because like there's the whole draft lottery, and just because you get worse record, doesn't mean you get the number 1 pick. But you still want to finish bottom 3. And I think right now they're like 4th, maybe 4th, 5th. It's like. And that's the other thing. It's like, well, you are trying to build a culture, whatever. You don't want just guys losing. Half of these guys aren't going to be here next year. It doesn't matter that they lose. Who cares?
Yeah,
it's fine. They're not going to be here.
The White Sox rip off like 15 in a row, led by Elvis Andrus batting 600. And it's just Jesus Christ. Oh boy! Oh, that's kind of funny. Michael Lorenzo, like I said, he pitched a no-hitter in a pair of vans. They just sent him to Cooperstown.
Oh, there you go.
So there's going to be a pair of vans in Cooperstown. There's a sentence you never thought you'd hear anybody say ever. A pair of van cleats are now in
People are saying Michael Lorenzen, best two-way player in MLB history.
Maybe.
I don't think Shohei's ever pitched a no-hitter.
Not yet. Not yet. Because God, when he does, ESPN and Twitter will be insufferable.
As he does it with the Cubs opening day next year.
That'd be sick.
But I was gonna say the one scenario I see Bellinger not even getting close to back to the Dodgers if the Dodgers just go out there and be like, all right, Shohei, here's $650 million. Stay out here.
$650 million. Shohei, we will pay your kids. You think Bobby Bonilla got a
Generational.
deal? Yeah, you think Bobby Bonilla got a deal? We will We'll give you
We will make
$700
you
million
the deal. Yeah, we'll
over
name
the
a
next
contract
80
after you.
years. Yeah, it'll be the Shohei deal.
The Ohtani contract.
You already have a rule named after you. So
You're all the way up to your third generation of your family name will get.
They give
the same
Shohei
salary.
$800 million over 40 years.
Well, dude, I was joking last offseason when we were seeing the big shortstop contracts.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, what's the team to be like, all right, 20 years, $1 billion?
Yeah.
Like the $50 million a year for 20 years, you defer some of that money even longer. Who cares?
Money, who cares? Like they make that up. No problem.
Oh man, dude, imagine any team that Shohei Ohtani goes to immediately. Number one, day one, you're the number one jersey seller in the world. Day one. Like you have the entire nation who's going to be buying your merch. It's just such an easy, like, oh man.
Scott Merkin's going to the White Sox defense on Twitter saying they announced Middleton's name, but you couldn't hear it because of all the boos, but they didn't do anything else. There's a video going around right now that shows that's not what happened.
I was going to say there's another, I think from the Daily Herald, Scott Gregor, who after Khan talked, he tweeted out, he's like, say whatever you want about Rick Hahn, but he doesn't hide. Everybody is just like, are you serious, guy?
It's tough to hide when Jerry and Kenny do synchronized swimming, kick your butt to kick you in front of the reporters so they can go hang out with Bill.
And then somebody was like, well, I mean, and this was on Monday night, and somebody replied, it's like they haven't had Sox Fest in 3 years. And he's like, well, do you think that was his decision? It's like, you don't got to be going this hard for Rick Hahn. Like, come on. It's
right.
Okay.
Like, I will never get the people that defend Hahn and shit. Like, I understand there's some people that just want to swim against the tide just to be that guy, but when people that I know are smart do shit like that, it's always disappointing.
Dude,
it's like,
that's why it's such a sweet gig. Because why do those people still defend Rick Hahn? And because, I mean, it's partly true, but again, he's also been part of the problem. It's because it just goes back to ownership. It's like, oh, well, Jerry. Jerry.
It's always just Jerry.
Oh, well, Jerry.
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 Jerry. Jerry.
Jerry.
Oh,
Jerry.
and by the way, I was thinking how, remember when the Bulls, also Jerry Reinsdorf's team, when they redid the front office, everybody was like, finally. Like, that hasn't gone all that good with the Bulls either. Imagine if Jerry Reinsdorf was just like, I'll just keep these guys around. Just because he sees what's happening with the Bulls. He's like, I don't want that happening. I don't want to pay two different sets of guys. I'll just keep these guys.
It's just wild to me. And the people that especially it's when you see the national broadcast and they're just like, what this team needs is a total teardown from the top down. It's like, we've needed that for a decade, bro. You guys aren't exactly
I can't get over, I cannot get over that graphic of the 3 longest tenured GMs.
Yeah.
And it's Cashman, World Series, but Yankees fans are on him every day.
Yep. Having a bad year this year.
Mike Rizzo, the Nationals. He's had some failures, but won World Series 2019, and then Rick Hahn. 2 playoff wins.
One of these things does not belong here. One of these things is not the same.
One of these things are dead.
Oh, you got an actual question in the comments. Do you guys think PCA comes up in September? Do you think
I do?
September come up?
I do. The Cubs now. Shout out to one of the, like you said, so never read the comments, but shout out to the guy commenting back on an article about PCA when he got called up to AAA, and I just offhand mentioned that he could come up in September. Be like, oh, you don't know the 40-man rules. The Cubs have 2 more spaces open on the 40-man roster. They can just add him on. Not that complicated. He is the perfect
Call-up.
bench guy in September that you need. He plays elite defense and he's fast as hell.
And he's going to get to experience something from the bench, like what could be a little bit of a run. So he's going to get some experience in that sense too. He's going to know what it feels like. So that's there's so many good things about pulling him up at this point, and the fact that he hits bombs for being such a little guy.
He's like it's again, we're still assuming, and I do think it's gonna be true. Cubs are still gonna be in the race here, playoff race. He's gonna be again in that atmosphere where hopefully he gets that experience now, so that he's not overwhelmed when he is like an everyday starter next year. Hopefully, where he gets a sense of pressure, but it's not all at once. Like he's like, okay, I felt this before. I've come up 40,000 screaming their heads off, having to face
It's
whatever.
the polar opposite of what you said about the White Sox. You don't want to bring a kid in this toxic environment. You want to bring a kid like PCA up when you're playing meaningful baseball games.
Something positive. It's a reward to him. And again, this does go back. If he, honestly, no matter what, I would still bring him up. But if he's doing well at AAA, it's a way you're showing your systems down across the minor leagues. If you do well at systems, we'll reward you.
Fair enough.
And it's not an out of the question thing. It's not like I'm not saying this about Matt Mervis. And you guys know how much I've been caving for Matt Mervis this year. I'm not pounding the table here, be like, I gotta bring up Matt Mervis.
I haven't heard that name in a couple shows.
Well, that's the thing. They finally got a good player.
Where's he at? Is he on the show or is he in AAA again?
He's still at AAA, still hitting bombs. He's just, who he is. I mean, I think Beefloaf might have called it. Well, no, who was it? Whatever it is, Matt Mervis he's in that Daniel Polka territory. Where I think at this point it's pretty obvious that the Cubs never really believed in him as a legit answer, because they gave that dude 99 plate appearances, and they're like, we want Trey Mancini. And Trey Mancini sucks.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel bad because it seemed like a nice dude, humble guy who, when he was up, he's like, yeah, man, I'm trying hard. I'm trying to talk with coaches, trying to talk with players, trying to see how I can adjust. But it might be a guy who's just like a 4A player. Hey, you can't be right about everything.
No.
But,
believe me.
Here's this. So picture this, Aldo, because think about this. PCA's up, right? Postseason. It's like late in the season, right? Tie ball game, bottom of the ninth inning at Wrigley. Gomez gets a base hit. Now Gomez runs like he's got, like slower than molasses in winter. So time, PCA, pinch run. Then I picture him stealing second, stealing third, and then just scoring on like a ball just that kind of bounces up near the plate, and he just catches a pitcher sleeping. When the kid, that's the things that he does as well as a base runner. He creates havoc. Yep. And having a kid like that, even in a pinch running capacity, no matter what situation you're in, makes your team better. And you have a guy that's going to make people make stupid mistakes because he's all over. Like he plays Pete Rose ball, man. He plays like a Pete Rose to me. Like he's playing through you.
I am telling you, he is going to piss off so many other people's fans, and I am going to live for every second of it.
It is fun when it's your guy.
This dude is, I don't know the word, like he's fire, like whatever stereotypical thing that things are said about guys who are just like show offy. He is that to the max.
Here's the thing too, though. He's show offy, but fundamentally sound.
Oh yeah.
So he's not a guy that's going to go on, like he'll get a job done in situations, like tons of situations, because he's a good fundamental guy. So you've got a guy now that not only is he going to be like a fireball, but he's a fireball that does the right things. He's not making stupid mistakes. So that's the best part. He's not like blindly a fireball. He's a legit controlled chaos, which I love.
The other day, I forget. It was like sometime in the past week. He was at AAA. He was leaning over to bunt, gets drilled in the helmet. Helmet comes flying off. He just like sprints to first base and is just seething at the pitcher, just staring a hole through this dude's face. Everyone's like, "Oh, love it!" And he is just
piss and vinegar, man.
Yeah, no, he is. He is everything that you want in a player, and then he has the talent to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has that like douchebaggery to him, where it's like on the edge of cocky but confident.
Swagger.
And you obviously, if you're a fan of the team, you look.
Yep.
So I got one's a stat and one's a funny ass tweet. Since Jose Ramirez knocked out Tim Anderson, the Guardians are 1-4 and the White Sox are 4-1. And then Tom Fornelli just tweeted out the Yankees have 27 World Series titles and 4 losses to the 47-69 Chicago White Sox. I mean,
Rough
no matter
season for the Yankees against the Chicago. Huh?
no matter how rough it gets, beating the Yankees is always sweet.
And I was with you, Zoe, in a season where, like, obviously your team's out of it. You gotta. I know we've been saying, like, you kind of want to lose for the better draft position.
It's not
but
the same in baseball, though. It's weird.
But there are certain games where, like, no matter how shitty your team is, you like when you were so happy when they fucking got Class A against Cleveland on Sunday.
Yep.
It's like, yes, that's a division rival. You obviously hate them for years. You still love to see those moments. Playing the Yankees, kicking their ass 2 out of 3. That feels great.
Yeah, I want Class A to never get another save in the rest of his career.
You would say that, Rangers fan.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're like, what hat am I wearing?
I was like, what? And you're right, Ian. Starting pitcher number 5 for the White Sox, kind of having a pretty solid year.
They're picking up his option.
Yeah.
That reminded me, Aldo. What do you think of the Smiley move?
Oh, love it. So one of the things I just don't
going off of your two's commentary of him, having not seen him throw all baseball this year, I think it's the right move. I'm pretty sure.
Was it the doo-doo message that you
the
posted?
doo-doo message and the fact that Kevin's like one more bad outing away from hopping on a plane just to like.
It's crazy how Drew
guy.
Smiley and Jameson Taillon have basically switched in how
Yep.
Cubs fans feel about. Drew Smiley had like a 2.5 ERA at the end of May. Looked great. It's like, hey, he had the near perfect game against the Dodgers, and then he's been shit.
We're taking victory laps.
10 starts. Jameson Taillon, on the other hand, his first. I mean, he got injured in the middle of April, missed time, came back, was brutal. Every pitcher makes mistakes, multiple mistakes every game, but every mistake he was making, it seemed like every team was hitting a home run. It was like he was not getting the bat block. Everything was just a double off the wall or a home run. It's like, fuck. This guy isn't that bad. I've seen his numbers. I've seen him pitch before. He is not this bad. He's turned around. He has a 2.17 ERA in his last 6 starts. Drew Smiley, lefty. I mean, he's an older guy. He's like, what, 34, maybe 35. I don't know. I don't think he's completely lost it, but because he did have that solid outing against the Cardinals, a bad Cardinals team, last Friday in St. Louis. But it looks bad. Like,
I think there's a reason why he's bounced around the way he has in his career too. Like this is just the Drew Smiley kind of thing. He's
a fifth starter. He's just he
has flashes of like where you're like, damn, he looks really good, and then you're like, now, I mean, since like June 15th, he's been like,
bad.
Extremely bad. And so as a result, I mean, it's the opposite too. But that's why you look at his numbers and it makes sense.
Do you guys trust him coming out of the bullpen?
Well, that's what I was going to bring up is like, well, he's been terrible, but like, is this a guy you want to bring in?
But we've said it a couple times about a bunch of different players. There's a difference between going out there with the mindset that you got to go 6 innings.
Yeah.
Versus I got to go out there and get 3 outs.
I think at this point, for me, Drew Smiley has to go in a spot where he is the pure long man. And that's not me saying like he has to be the piggyback guy as he was for against St. Louis back-to-back times. It's more a blowout either way. Those are the times I want to see Drew Smiley right now. Either the Cubs are up big, or the Cubs are down big.
Fair enough.
Can he be Mike Montgomery? He could be Mike Montgomery. Montgomery was kind of starterish too, and then kind of bumped back as a lefty arm that could be effective. And when he embraces the role.
So the key right now, what sucks is the Marcus Stroman injury, which he got the cortisone shot in his hip. I think his first game back might be against the White Sox, which we saw how that went last.
Possible 20K game right there for him.
Or he gets hit around.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but that's a guy who was also fantastic and then lost it. But maybe I hope that it was truly the injury. And hey, it does make sense because he looked great prior to this flare-up. The Cubs right now have Javier Assad and Hayden Wesneski. I have no idea what the fuck they're doing with Hayden Wesneski.
I now know who Assad is because he was on one of the Player of the Month missions for MLB The Show.
Okay,
so
there
he
you
must
go.
have had a good July because he got a pumped up card.
He's been pretty damn good in his role. Like he was playing the guy. He was the long reliever for the Cubs for the past few months, and he was saving the bullpen. He was coming in, throwing 3 to 4 innings, not allowing runs, keeping the Cubs in games. Assad right now is filling in for Stroman in the rotation, but now you have Smiley out. They moved up Tyon in the rotation, so he's going to pitch again on Sunday. So like the Stroman injury kind of fucked things up because now you have to have Assad. You're losing him out of the bullpen. Hayden Wesneski, they're pitching him a couple innings, and then tonight he didn't have it. He only pitched 1 inning. I wish he was used better, more as a spot starter. Justin Steele has been obviously fantastic this year.
Yeah.
But the one thing we do forget, and I completely, this hasn't been on my mind until this past week when it was brought up. Yes, he's like, 27, 28 years old. Last year, he only pitched like 119 innings. That was his career high. I think he's already passed that this year. And we're kind of seeing his last couple starts, he's still getting the job done, but he has been as sharp. He's not missing as many bats anymore. So I'm kind of a little, oh man, I don't know if once Stroman comes back, and I know there's a couple off days in the schedule, like maybe you push back Steele, give him that extra day of rest or something, because I'm kind of nervous as to what he's going to look like in his first season where he's going to get this amount of innings.
Well, the Cubs feel like they're at this point where not picking up an additional arm at the trade deadline is kind of a wish we would have kind of thing.
Well, is there a kid you'd want to see come up?
Well, it's Ben Brown.
Right. I know he got hurt.
And then he got There is, I think they could serve once Stroman gets back, and I think they said he should be back the minimum amount of time. Once he gets back, and if Assad keeps, like, he just has to pitch like a 5th starter, don't blow up early, get innings, get 5. If you're lucky, you're in the 6th. But they need to figure out what they're doing with Wesneski, because I don't get this whole. Oh wait, Caleb Killian has been up, he got called up.
Yeah, he got called up.
He might be a guy who, hey, after all, maybe he does play a role. That would be great because we've liked him. Kevin from the KB trade. He struggled the past few times that he's been called up. Maybe he's figured some stuff out, and the numbers look a lot better the past month at AAA. And he's another guy who can give you some length.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
as we all like length. Maybe he's the guy who steps up.
And with command too, he could be effective if you get your command.
Someone's got to clip that. Come on, you both can't let that go untouched.
That's why I emphasized.
Yeah. So, fellas,
length does matter sometimes.
Not so much girth. Oh wait, that has to do with pitching.
So we're over the two hour
guys
mark.
Who can give it to you pretty good. Yeah,
we're over the 2 hour mark. This is just clip central right now. We're over the 2 hour mark. This is usually where we would do the NASCAR Minute with NASCAR Mitch, but Mitch is working. He did do his own little episode during the day today around noon. Go check that out. This is a reminder to everyone out there to subscribe, but also to put on our episodes and then just turn the volume off and let them play while you sleep at night. That can help us out a great deal.
We can do a whole episode of ASMR and just have Zoe scratch his beard, right? And the guy can drink like through the straw, and you can hear like.
Oh, all right, fine. Just for my guy Ian. In lieu of the NASCAR Minute, turn your headphones down, everybody. Where is that? Here we go.
I started drinking at 6 a.m. and we're here now. I don't know what time it is, but I'm rolling deep, and those cars are going real fast and real left, son. They're going fast and left. Fuck yeah!
And that's your NASCAR Minute with NASCAR Mitch. Yeah, no, I agree with Healy. Mitch did a great video. I wish he would do great videos at night when we do our show, but that's neither here or there. I feel like we're getting a Destiny Child over here. But yeah, you guys got any last tidbits
Are
you'd
we
like
getting
to add
are we
before
getting
we
Timberlaked going out solo career?
wrap this up?
Sox play the Brewers this weekend. You know, I hope you guys didn't save all your good baseball for Cleveland and the Yankees.
Are you talking about that one of the hottest teams in baseball? The
Yeah,
Chicago
keep
White
winning, boy.
Sox?
Keep it going.
Yeah.
You know what? Forget everything I said about Pedro Grifol. Keep playing the veterans. Keep at least for this weekend when you guys play the Brewers.
Hey, we're almost 20 games on back to 500.
Climbing. Hey, the Cubs have to dig themselves out too at one point.
Yep.
Maybe the Sox are just taking a little longer. And as we know, they have a better group of guys now. Better culture.
Oh, better culture, yeah, because they got they definitely got rid of notorious assholes Jake Berger and Lucas Giolito.
All-time bad guy.
That is another weird thing that they've been like almost like subliminally like putting in like Han will be like, yeah, you know, we're gonna see the kids in the corner. You know, Andrew Vaughn's a great leader, and then we're gonna do the. It's like, what? He did that a couple times where it wasn't in the right context at all, and he'd just be like, yeah, you know, we've been looking around and blah blah blah, and it's a nice day outside, and Andrew Vaughn's a great leader, and we're gonna try some new things with the turf, and it's like, wait, what, dude? Like, why do you keep doing that? I don't know. They're trying to really get that narrative out there, but shout out Andrew Vaughn's upper body strength for absolutely ragdolling Tim Anderson out of that scuffle.
Yep.
That's a hard. I mean, I know Tim's not exactly the biggest guy in baseball, but when a guy is trying to like not be carried and you're carrying him like that, that was pretty impressive. But yeah, hopefully when we get back together next week, the White Sox aren't the biggest embarrassment in Major League Baseball.
Sweep the Brewers. Make the Brewers like dumb.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Do it.
Go to Christian Yelich into a fight.
Why not? Other than that, I'm just gonna start streaming Barons games.
Who was the guy? Who was the yeller again?
Project Birmingham 8.6.
Who was the yeller in the fight pictures?
Remillard.
Viking. Yop.
I need an adult. Yeah.
Hall monitor.
These guys are fighting.
Mom,
pick me up. I'm scared. He definitely looks like the mom pick me up. I'm scared kid. Oh, that's.
I don't remember if he was the same guy. I remember in the John Boy breakdown video. I don't know if he was also the guy who just like he threw his glove because he didn't want to lose it or whatever. And he's the one who just flung it so he didn't lose his glove in the scuffle.
Yeah. All right.
Cubs Blue Jays, my World Series from like 2019. This week.
Really?
No.
That's happening too.
Blue Jays been playing some pretty good baseball.
They are. That's another reason I'm glad that Smiley's in the bullpen because I did not want him facing that lineup.
But it's weird. I almost feel like the Cubs are playing to the level because that was an impressive series against Atlanta, and then a complete dumper against the Mets. And what's the difference there?
Offense went to the tank.
The Braves are one of the best teams in baseball, and the Mets suck.
It's rainy and gross in New York too, and it's fucking New York.
Yeah, that's true.
Pete Alonso, who may or may not have taken part in 9/11, has 15 home runs in 28 games, I think, against the Cubs.
Fuck, dude? Where did that come from?
You guys seen the meme?
Oh, I forgot about that. All right, yes.
I said if the Cubs traded for him, I was going to forgive him, but they didn't trade him.
That just caught. Wow. Okay, I'm awake now. Holy shit.
Clip that.
Who's the guy that you guys are always pissed off that the Sox pitched you? It's Jose Ramirez, right?
Yeah, it's Jose Ramirez.
The Mets aren't even in the Cubs division. He has 15 home runs in 28 games. He's averaging more than one every 2 games.
Yeah, I didn't.
Don't pitch to the dude.
I kind of figured the reasoning, but I did see somebody, I think it might have been Cody too, that was just like just intentional walk Pete Alonso every time.
I think this series he had what was it, like I think he had what, like 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. That was like 75% of the Mets offense this entire series. Don't pitch to the guy.
I knew this was going to make its way onto our show. I saw
Wait, you got to save that. You got to save that one.
I saw the tweet and I was like, this is going to be on a NASCAR minute so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Fitz had some stuff ready to go, but no NASCAR minute. But all right, that's it for Fitz. That's all though. Zo. Disclaimer: Pete Alonso had nothing to do with 9/11.
I said may or may not have.
that is
Disclaimer.
That is the Pinwheels and Ivy. Make sure you subscribe. Put us on in the background. Listen to the shows. DMs are always open. If there's someone you want to see on the show or something you guys want us to talk about, just let us know. Shoot your shot. And we will see you guys next week.